Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Boneyard podcast. This week again, we got HVL. I don't know what to call you, a leader or owner or officer.
Got officers a safe
Okay,
bet.
Officer HVL. Legendary. He's been on the show now 2, 3 times, I believe. And me and this dude love talking behind the scenes about all the changes and stuff. And we figured we might as well share it with you guys. I don't think he needs any introduction. So yeah, let's just get straight into it. This week we're going to be talking about Update 61 changes slash kind of the future. Some good things, some bad things that we like about this update. Some things we're scared of, and things that we just noticed. So yeah, where do you want to start in this whole deep dive? Do you want to start with the newest stuff, or do you want to just go over the overview?
I think what a nice approach is let's get the good stuff out the way and let's just talk about like what is your impression? What's the overall impression now that we've seen everything from top to bottom? We've basically seen most of the changes except like the last couple of tweaks. What are you
So
excited for? And actually, let's also talk about what sucks. Let's
yeah,
into
for
like what's
sure.
good, what's fucking sucks, and then
So
and then we'll go into the weeds.
I will say, in the anticipation of going into this update, almost everyone was thinking there was going to be a massive warden nerf. The wardens, da 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 da. They threw a curveball, dude. I did not expect a builder update coming out of here, and fucking hats off, brother, because the builder update, I love it. I think you guys are actually really cooking with the builder update. Um, I'm really excited to see you're not following just the trends of what Reddit and everyone says. I like how they're going off on their own thing and building the game they want, and I think that's good. Builder update, massive dub. I'm really excited to see. I'm excited to see how it's going to shake up the meta, but what I'm worried about is a lot of the naysayers and wanting the reverse to happen. A lot of people don't like it because they want to stay in the Old Testament and not go into new, like they don't want to go into that new lifestyle of Foxhole or that new meta. And I think it's going to be really good for the game. It's going to shake up the game a lot. It's not going to be copy, paste, go anymore. And I think that's really cool. One thing I am nervous about, and that's kind of the main thing of this update, is the breaching mechanic. I have no fucking clue how this is going to shake up on a front line when a breach happens and either the rage quit because that was the pinnacle of the defense, or the massive hoorah rah because you get to storm the fucking gates and actually get in and be interactive and not wait for the offline shenanigans to kick off. I'm excited. I think Partisans got a... Everyone is, or not everyone, Ducky in my regiment thinks it's a massive partisan nerf, with being able to checkerboard a lot easier and like set up side by side. But I see it as a buff, dude. With these new Havocs, man, I think they're gonna be able to exploit some bases, dude, and especially with Flames suppressing MG garrisons now. Oh, buddy, it's gonna be some scary different kind of takes going on in the back line now. Facility man better watch their ass because it's going to be a whole different ball game now. So, I mean, that's just my overall view on it. Is it's a builder update. There's some slight tweaks here and there that really have helped a lot of areas in the game. Of course, the shotgun nerf came. Not the one everyone wanted, but it's the one we fucking got. So, it's changed. We'll see how that works. I'm just excited to play this next war out. I think this next war is highly anticipated, and I think it's going to be a really good back and forth war next time. So, I mean, that's my overview. What's your overview and stuff on it?
So definitely, I definitely like the builder changes, and I like how some of the power of bunker bases have been shifted a little bit away from tier 3 to tier 2 and tier 1. I think the biggest problem that I personally had with Fox over the last like year or so. Besides, obvious this faction is too strong, weapon balance mechanics. I'm saying that ironically, of course, I don't really care. It has been the fact that once tier 3 concrete is built and settled, it requires an abnormal amount of player participation from the attacker's side to actually break through it. Now, don't get me wrong. I understand that bunker base building is a very, very complicated system to figure out with all the niceties of balancing health with number of AI defenses and accounting for things like partisans, low pop, pushes, artilleries, sometimes like the weird angles that you can hit bunker bases from that your garrisons can't actively respond to. But the problem is when a bunker base is perfect, with like properly perfect, requires a lot of vet knowledge and a lot of like niche building mechanics to get right. But when a bunker base is perfect, it is almost nigh like undestroyable if the defenders are actively like QRFing it. It is incredibly hard to break concrete. And again, this is a fundamental mechanic and knowledge for most veteran players within Voxel. But new players have absolutely no idea how to like properly assault big juicy fucking concrete bases.
To add in on your point, and something I really think, something I caught, and I'm not trying to get a I gotcha, but something that there were bases that were indestructible, and there was one way to break them. There's two ways. One is an extremely overpriced V2 rocket or Railstorm cannons. And that was like the only way to break those bases. Even then, that sometimes wasn't even enough if they had a storm cannon themselves. But now with this new change, with the breachable, what I am kind of nervous of, they're making it more accessible to the public, accessible to actually work with teammates on lower scales to break through these incredibly challenging pieces, with the breach mechanic stuff. The El Quito and it's the Jester V2, I think is the names. Those two mechanics, I feel like, are what they wanted the Railstorm Cannon / V2 to be, except they wanted more of them going all the time, and that just wasn't feasible. So, I like what you were saying, certain bases, when they're really well put together, I mean, you had real weeks of people, real lifetime week event going down essentially on a certain base, and most of the time, I wouldn't say most of the time, a lot of the times it felt really shitty to be the attacker to just go into this concrete fucking fortress and just get smashed and really feel like there's no way unless you're in a tank or a infinity glob of fucking tremolas or cutler, just whoever side. I definitely I agree with you. I'm really excited that they're trying to shake that meta up a little bit, and maybe it'll be worse with the new builder stuff, like that's the thing we don't really know. Maybe it's going to get worse. Maybe the builds are going to get so strong now that we need the breachable mechanic stuff, but at least we have the tools now to get that job done. So definitely good point. Definitely a good point.
I think when I meant with my original point, where I said a lot of the power is being moved away from tier 3 to tier 2 and tier 1, is right now in pre-update Voxel, tier 3 is the only place that you build towards. You don't actively design for tier 2. It dies too easily. It dies to fire. It dies to like indirect combat. You definitely don't build for tier 1. So neither of those two really have a place. The only exception is tier 2 is sometimes used as patch jobs and sometimes used as push bunkers. That's it. You almost never design for anything other than tier 3. But with this update, I really do see an argument of sometimes a bunker base just needs to stay tier 2, or sometimes a bunker base just needs to be tier 1 for a couple of hours. You can layer your design to a degree where you only benefit depending on the population of the player base in that hex, in that particular environment. And you don't need to just design for tier 3, because with the biggest change with the bunker stuff coming in is the fact that you can lay down concrete the moment you have a shovel. You don't need to wait a week before you can use a concrete bag. Now, sure, drying times and blah, 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 blah. I totally understand that. But push building is going to be insanely engaging to play with this patch. Just because I can now, if my faction pushes in, fights very hard to break a previous concrete base, we break in, we take a town, we take a victory point, we take a Logi route or something like that. I can now tell my guys, cool, we're going to build this up because we're gonna build gains, which is a problem that both factions suffer from. I mean, just look at Endless Shore this far. Like, no one is building. Literally no one is building. It's just no man land combat non-stop. And the problem with that is there is no layered construction in Foxhole whatsoever. What's the current meta? You build 4 or 5 bunker bases, you hope you get small garrisons so you can upgrade them to tier 2, and then boom, they fucking die to 150 anyway. Now with this update, what we can do is I can be like, cool, we push into a hex. Let's say we take 3 relic bases. So let's imagine Clastra is being pushed, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we push in from the collies push in from the south. We take Watchful Knave. We take East Narthex, but we don't get all the way to Treasury. Previously, what could we do? Okay, well, we spam a whole bunch of tier 1, tier 2 bases around. Anything in the front kind of gets demolished, and then that gets steamrolled, and the bunker bases behind it basically put up no resistance because they don't even get to 80 garrisons to stop chieftains or ballistas, right? But now what we can do is I can tell my guys, like, okay, listen, the 4 bunker bases, those are just going to be where the random players and the random QRF get to play. We keep it tier 1, tier 2, and we spam it with fucking tripod weapons. Tripods at every window, you know? And we put down a couple of rifles, we put down a couple of MGs just to cover the usual partisan run routes. But the whole goal of those bunker bases is they are supposed to die and be rebuilt at low costs. So we just toss in 2,000 BMATs in the front bunker base, and that's it for just holding it. And we don't care if it gets artillery, we don't care if it gets mortared, because we're forcing the enemies to trade explosives to kill something that's relatively easy to rebuild and re-engage with. And it also gives a chance for newer players to grab a shovel and, build a 3x1 or build a 2x1 and hold it off with an ISG and a couple of clips of 12.7 on the Lamenta. Cool. It's fun and engaging. But meanwhile, while this is going on, 2 bunker bases back, I'm already putting down concrete. And I'm putting down concrete octagons. I'm going to put 150s in that. I'm going to be building concrete storage rooms because you can build them in relatively quick support bunker tech that takes really fucking fast. I'm going to be loading those bases with 150s. By the time the Wardens push in past my tier 1 and tier 2 defenses, I'm already going to have essential counterfire concreted, ready to QRF, and then I just do patchwork with tier 2.
You know
that
what's crazy?
Is something we can't do. It's insane. I'm super fucking hyped for this update because we can now do interesting, crazy shit that is not just, I make my bunker base go from 14,000 HP to 22,000 HP and 95% resistance GLHF. I don't have to just do that. I can put up tier 2. I can make tier 2 Howie traps. Even though I hate Howie traps, I can do it. I can make tier 2 Howie traps. We can defend islands from gunboats without having to wait 2 weeks. It's super exciting. Like,
it goes crazier than that.
Yeah.
Even, because here's the other thing. You're talking about you push in and break a concrete base. Something Bone is ecstatic about is the rocket changes. Like, we were rocket fanatics, not every single war, but every time we saw a Hades net and it was not strapped down, we're like, hey, let's run that. We would run them. We thought they were really cool. They're fucking scary now. I mean, dude, I've put a Hades net in a certain spot in every single hex, and you could theoretically dictate a lot of engagements, already. Because here's the thing that a lot of people don't understand, right? And you're talking about, you have your base and it gets shit on by, Arty. That is true. That's going to happen. Push Arty's going to happen. Push 120s, push 150s. Not actual push, but like people are going to come react to what you're doing with 120s and 50s. 700 damage. Could you tell me the health of a pallet?
Oh fuck, no. But I know a pallet dies to one storm cannon round, so that's 1,500. Well, before it got buffed.
Let's say
So,
3
1,000?
rockets. Let's say 2 rockets hit a pallet. It's dead.
Yes.
Let's
Okay,
say you
fair,
have
fair. Let's go with that.
let's say you have 3 Hades nets. That's 15 rounds a minute. Dispersion fucked, of course. It's a little bit better. Rockets are going to be so like the pressure's going to be consistent, and I'm smiling like a little schoolgirl, dude, because I love that. But you know what the other part of it is that's so cool is what you said. This always happens, and it's so crazy, and I'm so excited it's never going to happen again. But have you ever fought at Prairie Bazaar in Lena Mercy? Fort Duncan, Prairie Bazaar?
Yes. We've built
So,
it a couple times as well.
almost every single war, that bridge that goes to, I want to call it the Long Line. No, that's up north of it. It's, Outwitch. On the right-hand side of the hex. Gunboats will come from Mercy's Whale and just fucking dog pound that bridge as soon as gunboats get teched. That's never going to happen again. Now, obviously, they're going to try to do... But I'm just saying, like, with Tier 1... Even Tier 1 howitzers, I don't think people, like... They're so weak, and they're not going to resist a lot of arty. But gunboats... Oh my god, you guys. Like, building near the water is not going to be as scary. Now, obviously, frigates will still dominate these things. Big boats will dominate. Coordinated assaults will dominate these things. But it won't be a single shit boat, coming over there and ruining, 8 hours worth of digging by yourself. You can actually hold your own against gunboats now and hold your own against, somewhat artillery if they're not organized on their side. And that's just such a cool... Like, push bobs, exactly what you say. That's such a cool mechanic. That is such a cool mechanic that we're going to be able to have actual... defense against every asset if you put your money where your mouth is and do the right stuff. I think that's really cool. I'm stoked.
Actually, on that point, you raise a pretty good point with the whole like singular gunboat causing trouble. The devs have actively been making a lot of changes, not just this patch, but of like the last couple of patches, of trying to nerf people that are using exceptionally small amounts of player numbers, if not solo players, trying to fuck over hundreds of player hours that are invested into both construction and as well as doing logi stuff and building those things up. A single gunboat, which arguably can be done with a skeleton crew of 2 to 3 players, usually 3, but 2 people in a pinch, can crew a gunboat together. That was always more than enough to like assault bases that were within 100 meters range of the water. Even with tier 1 garrisons. Now, I regard tier 1 RE garrisons as a blueprint lock-in to get to tier 2 and tier 3, because that's the real place where houses go in. But even a tier 1 RE garrison can, even if it just retaliates once or twice, that is enough to scare off a gunboat if they make a mistake. Now, I don't necessarily like players making a mistake and then getting deleted, but we'll see less of that, and the devs have put in effort to balance out the fact that you can't just have a single gunboat completely dumpster a push bob or a frontline bob or an island bob that is specifically built and maintained by a regiment. So the devs are actually attempting to revamp the whole idea of a small number of players and in a disproportionately small number of players assaulting and overcoming a dedicated group that just basically gets shit on the fact that we can't play the game 24/7 and players need to log off and go to bed. And tier 1 howitzers, tier 2 howitzers, and tier 1 AT garrisons is the first real attempt by the devs to curb this a little bit more. Now, of course, we're going to get people that are going to say, yeah, but the Lunaire blobs, and yeah, but the Cutler blobs. Yeah, that's fair. But then again, how many people are inside Lunaire blobs? How many people are inside Cutler blobs? It's dozens of players. 2 or 3 guys with Cutlers, not really going to do much. 2 or 3 guys with Lunaires, yeah, you might lose a couple of watchtowers. You might lose like a 3x1 or a 5x1 meta piece near the front. But you're not going to completely lose everything inside your bunker base now because a single chieftain shows up, because you could put tier 1 garrisons. Yeah, the chieftain will still overwhelm one piece, but a single chieftain ain't gonna pop your bunker base anymore. A single ballista getting in to fucking wreck your storm cannons is not gonna be a problem anymore. And the devs have been designing against this principle of small amount of players in weird time slots being able to overwhelm large players worth of effort. And I think it's awesome. And the devs have really been locking in indirect nerfs to players. Like, they're not actively adding in a mechanic to stop players from doing it. There's no like, oh, your base is invulnerable if it's like 2 hexes back. Devs aren't doing that, but they're indirectly nerfing it by, oh, we're adding in a way for you to lock in your blueprints. But it just so happens that the way that you lock your blueprints in can actually shoot back from shitters who try to fucking sneak in and fuck your shit up.
So, you know, something else that you brought up there, and you said one key word, and it goes for ballistas too, but you said chieftains. One thing that I salute the devs off to is putting 30 mil in the garrison houses and the AT pillboxes.
Yeah. Yes.
There will never be... I tested it, and I have the video still on my Twitch of how fast those things can obliterate tanks. You will not see any more big behind the fucking town hall tap ops because they got, you know, past the 20 mil. Dude, one G house can obliterate a tank. And it's not even like sometime, you know, 50. Those things are vicious, dude. 30 mil garrison houses are vicious. I'm very interested to see how the meta shakes up with ballista rushing, with 30 mil AT pillboxes, ballista rushing town halls. You know, it's going to be, you know, kill the G house the same old way you always have. You know, you do Arty, or you do, you know, Havoc rushes or Hydra rushes, Satchel rushes, that kind of stuff. That's not going to change, and that's still going to happen. But I don't think you're going to see ballistas and chieftains running into town halls backline to go kill shit anymore. You know, you're not going to fare that in, and especially with 30 mil AT pills. That's scary as shit, dude. If you're running at night in a vehicle and you don't see one in the bush and all you get is one to the track, and then it only takes like 6 or 7 or 5 or 6, boop, your tank's gone, dude. And tanks are going to have to be on their toes. And that's another thing, you know, it's a kind of a shadow nerf to tanks, but they're not, you know, printing it off as one. You know, and it's really crazy when you think about the damage percentage.
It's
but
dude,
it's a shadow. It's
indirect.
That's how they're doing it.
Cooking.
It's how they're doing it, and I see what you're saying, and it's really crazy because, dude, like, have you ever been one shot tracked and you just know you're fucked? That's gonna happen so fucking often with these things. It's gonna be insane, dude. They're cooking so much. They're putting the power in the strategy of the players, and not so much of how to fucking cheese stuff. It's if you do things right and you keep doing the basics right, you're gonna have a better chance percentage to win. And I think they're getting away from, well, we need to make this buff and this buff to, you know, trying to do this. And it's like, if you put the work in, there's a baseline. And if you hit that baseline, you're gonna do way better off than the people who are just trying to, you know, barely get by, if that makes sense, mid-maxing, you know, and oh my god, I'm so excited, dude. I'm so excited. AT pills are gonna be huge. And God forbid, not to. I've been actually watching the Reddit on new builds and stuff, and out of the blue, someone added me, and people are starting to use that V-shaped design that I had for the bear trap for Fissuras and stuff.
Yes. Dude, you started a trend, man.
And I was like,
the
dude,
bear trap meta.
Dude, and I was like, but that's fucking cool, dude, that people are doing cool shit and not like, oh, just halberd here, just put 3 fucking halberds with a, you know.
Yeah.
It's so like, cool. You got cool builds and, oh, dude, it's sweet, bro. And I'm like, it's so exciting because when I wake up and I get on Foxhole for the day, I'm going to go up and be like, what the? And I'm going to just see what someone put down and cooked with. And I'm going to be like, copy, paste, fucking print it in my brain. Because, dude, there's so many people cooking and trying to, you know, rip through this weave of things of not knowing and how to put things together. And it's squares and fucking triangles, but it's so fucking interesting to see how people are doing stuff, man. And I'm so excited, dude. I'm so excited.
So 2 things to that. One, I want to talk about the 30 mil change because I have some interesting things from the recent changes to tell you about that because maybe you missed it. But yeah. Anyway, but before I'll get back to that. Just to speak on the point now of the creativity that's being added to bunker bases. Here's a question for you. Do you think we would have the same level of creativity instead of getting firing ports? We just get a 30 mil AI bunker and like a 68 mil AI bunker or a like 120 AI bunker. Do you think we would get that? Fucking hell no. I don't believe that at all. I don't believe the fact that, you know, we get a 20 mil 80 like a 20 mil square bunker that you just hammer out. We don't need that shit. Put in the firing ports, put in the tripods, put in the mines, put in the dragon's teeth in key positions to like. Dude, can you imagine this, right? Just thinking about this. Dude, I'm so hyped for this. You have no idea. Right? Let's say I'm playing Warden. Right? Mm-hmm. And I have just a 5x1 that has no AT on it. Sorry, no AI AT. So no AT garrisons, none of that shit, right? I just put 5 Arc RPG tripod mounts like on it, and then to bait tanks in, I'll make like a choke. And I'll intentionally leave open, like, dragon's teeth. I'll put, like, dragon's teeth like a gate, and then I'll leave, like, a little choke open. And then I'll be like, oh, I'm going to bait the ballistas in. And then, boom, 5 guys jump, like, stand up, they grab the guns, and they all fire an arc ammo and immediately, like, hit the back tank. The back tank gets trapped or it gets disabled, he can't get out, and then they just demolish all the tanks that came through the... Dude, that shit is so interesting. And the thing is if that was a thing with AT garrison, like an AT garrison or like an Arc RPG anti-tank garrison that the devs added that you could just hammer out, players won't react to that. There's no like sneak attack aspect. It's just there's a garrison, we can't go there because it's zone of death. Now there's a lot more trickery. There's a lot more interesting mechanics that you can incorporate, and it's all player decision and player design. And your bear trap meta piece that you made, that opened the floodgates, dude. That opened, like, people like, wait, you could put Fissuras inside your garrison. You can lob it over like a impromptu mortar garrison.
Oh yeah.
That shit. We're seeing a height of new, creative, innovative builds. Which, at the end of the day, if I have enough 150 and 250, I'll still fucking smash it to pieces. But that's totally cool because at least there will be some player interaction with the bunker base before it fucking dies. And that is something that has been sorely missing within the bunker mechanic within Foxhole ever since I started playing. Like, literally go to any frontline on Able right now, see how many bunker pieces your player character can get into because there's a trench that goes into it with a door. It's almost non-existent. The only time that bunker-based builders wants people inside their bunker bases is to AFK hammer BMATs because they're being attacked by a large ship or they're being attacked by an SPG. That shit is boring as fuck. And everyone hates playing inside bunker bases because the builders don't want players inside their bunker bases unless it's to repair or put out fires. But now it's going to be like, you're going to get Timmy Private to sit inside that bunker base, and he gets to play with an ISG that's prepped and ready to go. He gets to play with an ARC RPG launcher that's prepped and ready to go. He can launch gas grenades when there's a Mammon Rush coming. That, dude, it's like, why haven't the devs done this earlier? Like, why do people want to go back to boring concrete boxes everywhere that needs to be hammer beam matted? And the only way to crush it is to get to the very, very end of the tech tree and to have a very, very large regiment to run the weapons at the very end of the tech tree to break it.
Well, and
I'm hyped, dude. Yeah.
The coolest
Pat on the
part
back
to me,
yeah, figured it out.
the coolest part to me though, and I think you've had a situation like this where you've logged on and there's a base you fought over for the past few days. You kind of grow an attachment, kind of, you know, like, oh, we got to save the conch, dude, save the boys, you know. I remember, it was a really cool regiment, and I love these guys. I just can't think of their name. I just woke up like 2 hours ago, so I'm not fully aware yet, but I'm trying to think of the name. Anyway, we had been to their base every day, helped them build it from day one, and we grew attachment to it. When people get to be a part of something, aka involvement, aka being a part of the fucking group instead of the peasants that get, you know, you're a part of this, not get the fuck away from my bunker, dude. Stop touching my shit. Stop. It's like, dude, get your ass in the gun and start fucking mowing them down. I need you. That's gonna get the incentive to be like, this is our shit, boy. We gotta get in there, you know? Like, let's go, you know? And it's gonna be cool, and people are gonna want to help, and people are gonna be like, how do we do this more? I want to learn how to do this. And then when people want to learn and want to be better, then you get better involvement, better community. You stop getting so many salty shitheads, and you get to, how can I help, sir? How can I get, you know, how can I get you, how can we win? How can we win this fight? Push them forward, you know? And that's such a fucking cool mechanic that I don't even think the devs intended. Maybe they did, but god damn is it gonna be so cool, dude. I want to see the day, and this is every builder's dream no matter what. Your front gets used and it becomes a massive firefight. That's gonna be incentivized even more now. You know, you're going to have pride in holding an area when you build up now. And people like your base design. And people want to fight in your shit because you build good. And you give them good firing ports. And you give people the opportunity to be a hero. That sounds so lame, but that's something I've started to use in Bone. Is everyone wants to be the guy. You know, everyone's a cog in the machine. And Foxhole fucking hammers that into you that you're just another number. But everyone wants to be the hero. Everyone wants to be in the super heavy gun. Everyone wants to be the guy that say, I got the tank kill. When you get players and give players that opportunity, they'll love you, dude. They'll love the game. Yeah. They'll love to play. They will do anything they can because it's a dopamine rush, dude. They will go after it just to, like, get that again from that base. And, dude, it's going to be so... I don't even know the word engaging. I guess that's the best word I can use. Engaging.
So here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. Everything that you just described is in literally every other aspect of Foxhole except bunker base building. Think about it. If you're main Logi guy, I'm a Logi facility guy. The way I get people to engage with the sort of content that I enjoy playing with is, hey, why are we scooping for B mats? Why are we scooping for C mats? Why are we making M subs? Let me show you. So whenever I get new players and I'm teaching them how to play facilities in Lodi, ask anyone in my regiment, what's the first thing I get them to do? Hey, let me show you how to make a spather. Here's a foul ship. Let's go to the seaport. I'll give you a foul ship. Let's take it to the upgrade pad and you press the spather button. Wow, you got a spather. Do you know what these things do to the front line? Let me show you a video compilation of like 10 spathers rolling a fucking entire bunker base. Awesome. People go, holy shit, I can make these tanks, and I could do that on this pad. Awesome. So then I go, cool, here's another Falchion, make another one. And then eventually they go, I eventually intentionally make it so that the pad that they're working on doesn't have enough materials. Why? Why do I do that? Because then they
Teach
go
them
and
how
they
to
say,
be
shit,
self-sufficient. Oh yeah.
I need more materials. I need process construction materials. Hey, Legendary, how do you do process construction materials? Like, I'm glad you asked. We need to take salvage. We need to take the salvage over here. We need to make cements. We need to take the salvage here. We need to make a metal beam. We need to get some heavy oil from this facility. Dude.
I
And
love
then they
vegan
get hooked.
pecans.
And then anyway, by the way, WL coined that term, not Knight. I know they're out there spreading fake information. WL did it. Anyway, just kidding. Anyway, but the point I'm trying to make, I'm not trying to get sidetracked here, but the point I'm trying to make here is you can engage players in every aspect of Foxhole. I have proven it that I can do it with facility and Logi players. I can get any motherfucker addicted to making tanks. I can get any motherfucker addicted to making artillery shells, getting in a train, dumping on at the front line, and then watching the front line move. It's there. It's engaging. People come back. People log in the next day, and they go, "Cool, salvage field is up. I'm going there. I'm making CMATs and metal beams. I'm gonna be making pecans. I'm gonna be making tanks all day," and they love doing it. Wait, no, let me finish. Let me finish this point.
Okay.
Because I want to.
This is so important.
No. I'm gonna finish.
Okay.
I'm getting hyped. I'm building
No,
up.
you're good.
I'm doing Siege Camp's job for hyping up the Boulder update, and I'll tell you why. Right. So I just proven the point of the facilities and Logi. The same thing is with artillery. The same thing is when you get on a large boat. When you get on a large boat and you go out and you like obliterate a frontline base, or you destroy concrete that's been a menace. Everyone on that ship cheers for you. The entire region and world chat just goes red text, top to bottom F's. Like, holy shit, destroyer came in, leveled a bunker base that we've been struggling with for weeks. Fuck yes, we lost the destroyer. Oh no, we lost the destroyer, but the front is moving. The base is busted open. The tanks can move in. The Logi trucks can get in now. It's sick. It's awesome. And the people, everyone involved in that entire interaction feels rewarded for that gameplay loop.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the same with the artillery. 3 SPGs roll up. You grab the random private that's been running aimlessly in the front. You be like, hey, grab these shells, put it in that tank. Join the squad so you can get through the squad locks. So be part of us, be part of the team. Join our Discord so you can watch the spotters like streaming the shells landing, so you can look at the shells landing while you're pressing V and putting the shells in the tank, and the whole war machine keeps running. That is super engaging and interesting gameplay. Logi has it. Frontline has it. Tanking has it. Naval has it. Why the fuck does bunker base not have it? Why? Because what is the current bunker meta? Yet again, it's people design the entire thing, they build it, then they squad lock it, and then they go, cool, my baby is safe. It cannot be touched by artillery. It cannot be touched by tanks. It cannot be touched by partisans because it's tier 3 concrete, it has 1 billion health. The only thing I need to worry about is putting 20,000 VMATs in here and telling people to cure F on Discord. That is not interesting gameplay for the average motherfucker who just wants to log in and play Foxhole. But now it is, because now what's going to happen is the bunker base builder, the random private is going to load into a frontline bunker base. He's going to go, oh, cool, it's a little bit of a mismatch. It's not perfectly designed. There's a whole bunch of random pieces put together, but they're not just there to hammer BMATs. They can sit in, like I said, they can sit inside the firing ports. They get a vested interest in sitting in front of sitting inside the Rapturas that are tier 3 concrete pieces that with an ammo room next to it, because we're going to see more ammo rooms now because it makes sense with the breach mechanic. It's interesting and engaging. Why, like, this was one of the missing parts of Foxhole, and we're getting at with update 61, and it ruins me that motherfuckers are angry at the changes that are coming in. Anyway, now we go to the timeout. So, what did you want to say?
I was gonna say, I'm not a Logi guy, but something you're gonna need to start packing in your deliveries to the front. They also shadow buffed a fucking piece that never really got used. Metal beams. They are going to need to be in bunkers on the front. People are going to need to MPF these things. I don't think people know that you can't just beam at these things. It takes a metal beam to put in that firing port, And I think That's something, like, it doesn't seem that big, but think about on 17 different fronts, you're going to need how many firing ports per hex per front. You're going to need the assembly material factory at every front line. Sandbags, barbed wire, metal beams are going to be pivotal. Another thing that I was going to bring up earlier that I had thought about, something that is so fucking cool that's never been added into the game till now. I mean, God forbid, when rockets got added, they didn't even have fire trucks. Now you have automated fire suppression systems. They can be overwhelmed, but let's say you only have one little shitty gunboat and they're trying to hit your piece, and you have a fire suppression in there.
Yeah.
There you're going to have a whole different, like, almost playing checkers and chess versus the enemies, you know? Like, these things are going to get so fun. That's the best way I can put it. It's going to be fun.
It's going to be fun. Yes.
As fuck.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, by the way, I do have to say the trigger word, reaching trail. We got to figure out, we got to put a little wellspring in there or something you can tap into, bro, because I feel so bad.
I think at this point I think we just need to commit to the fact that reaching trail sucks. Devs, please add like 2 frozen lakes that you can put the pumps on, but you can't, and you could build over it. But at this point I'm agreement. Like if reaching trail is gonna get cold next war, God, we're gonna get first of all we're gonna get a fucking Reddit post about like, oh yeah, coal and reaching trail, we can't pump concrete this war again. But second of all, yeah, I think reaching trail. I mean, I keep telling the guys they should just do a water trade because whenever we build the southern side of Blemish, I run a water trade, bro. I bring water into Blemish.
There are ways around it.
Side.
It is excruciating pain to have to do that all the time, but there are ways around it, and maybe that's what the devs kind of want is like. You know, I know it's not easy, but that's kind of the way we're designing it. Is, you know, every hex has its fucking you know what I mean? And maybe that's just the worst in the game, you know, but that's the way it is. But other than that, dude, talking about the fire suppression, it's weird. They made a fire suppression mechanic that can be overdone, like overworked.
Yes.
I don't... For how much it destabilizes the builds, I don't know if we're at a good fluctuation point of how much fire it suppresses versus how much it hurts your build entirely. How do you feel about that?
The biggest downside is you need to add a square. That's the biggest downside. So the fire suppression unit itself, yeah, you'd get a bit of a drop in HP, and yes, it has a slightly negative effect on your breachable HP. I think it's 2% or 1% more. But the biggest decision making that's going to be taking place now with bunker-based designs themselves is going to figure out how to add in square pieces that are not AI. And do you want them, and how are you going to incorporate them? Because the way that bunker-based building is mostly going to be done now, specifically like the very coordinated, very well-built fortresses, is you need to incorporate as many triangles in your builds as possible, because those are the most structurally sound designs that you can have, because of the whole new internal breachable vulnerability that they've added. So again, just for people watching and you're not entirely sure what I'm talking about, is you now need to make sure that all your pieces basically have another piece connected to it, and you want to have as very little edges around the perimeter of your bunker base design as possible. And the best way to do that, just from pure geometry, is triangles. You have as many triangles as possible. It gives you the most amount of HP, least amount of surface space. For the space of one square, you could basically have like maybe not two, but like 1.8 triangles. So it's better to have as many triangles as possible. So my answer to your question about, well, how do you feel about the fire suppression system then is well, how are builders going to integrate it within their bunker-based design and also add an engine room because it needs to be powered. So you need to have an engine room square, and you need to have a fire suppression square, and then you also need to counter in the fact that you're going to need AI pieces to retaliate. You're probably gonna want a howitzer, maybe to fire against artillery, and you're gonna have to figure out that base design and then balance out the amount of pieces that you add to it uh, with triangles as well to offset the amount of HP that your bunker piece has. But in terms of the, fire can overwhelm a fire suppression unit and fire can still be used to counter it. I think it's perfectly acceptable because that's how every other AI garrison in the game currently works. So it's not outside the norm. You can overwhelm a howitzer if there's a howitzer trap, right, and it only has one howitzer gun pointing to a particular direction, and out of its entire coverage, you just put 3 thunderbolts in octagons, and then you just salvo fire it to death. Yes, it's going to retaliate. Yes, you're going to lose people. Yes, you're going to use some pallets of 150, but you overwhelm it with concentrated firepower, and then you win. And I feel like the fire suppression unit follows that pattern. That being said, I don't think a lot of people are going to be building fire suppression units for concrete, because concrete is still good. Concrete is still if the enemy is bringing enough literal fire incendiary ammo to put your concrete on fire, you're going to want to be conscious enough to have fire trucks. You're not going to rely on a fire suppression unit to take down 6 sky crawlers or 7 sky crawlers, which is probably what you need to put a decent concrete base on fire.
Sorry, I'm
it
trying
also
to
won't
find
do
that.
It also one sec. It also won't do anything against a raging inferno. So if there's a strong tier 5 wind and you put the one piece of the base on fire and the fire sweeps across your entire base, I think if you have a fire suppression unit in every single one of your meta pieces, I don't think that'll save your base. You're gonna have to actually cure it for the fire, just like it is right now. Except I think tier 1 to tier 3 fires could probably be handled by enough fire suppression. So one sky again, same design principle. One sky caller ain't gonna do jack shit to your tier 2 base anymore. Right now, tier 5 wind, one sky caller can level a tier 2 base. Easily. It just needs to get a little bit lucky. You need to land one meta piece. You need to land like 2 or 3 rockets on one meta piece, and the entire base goes ablaze. And if there's no one to actively cure F, it's over. But that's what the fire suppression unit's supposed to do. It's to stop. Again, it's to stop the 1 or 2 heroes of Foxhole to try and win the entire battle. Sorry, what's up?
No, I'm trying to find that photo of the adjacency. What you were talking about earlier, with triangles, to help people visualize what you're talking about.
I have a copy of all the slides from Devs. Put it in a PowerPoint presentation for a Yap that I did a couple days ago. Let me quickly go find it.
But yeah, anyway, I get it. I hope the fire suppression isn't another weather station. You know what I mean? That's what I'm hoping for, is it's not another weather station situation. I hope it's one of the situations where if you do have it in, you can definitely tell it's there and it helps a lot. But it's not 100% needed, especially fire trucks will do the same. Kind of like with the auto crane builder, the little CVs, construction vehicles. They're very helpful, but one person's going to be better than one of those by itself. And I'm cool with that mechanic, but I definitely want it to show its presence if it is installed. I don't want to have another weather station situation where they're just adding useless shit that we're not going to use because it's not worth. That's what I guess I'm trying to say with this new suppression system. I don't want a worthless piece of junk.
Yeah. Actually, come to talk about useless piece of junk. Just to dial back something that you talked about a little bit earlier, and we kind of got sidetracked like we normally do. 30 more changes to towns.
Mm-hmm.
One change that was not recently added, but was basically discovered by the devs, and they kind of were like, hey, actually, you know what, this is fun, and then it became a feature. Is if you go to the patch notes, it's a very interesting line here. And I'm gonna copy and paste it and put in chat. Which, by the way, I put the screenshot that you're looking for there.
Oh yeah, this is for the YouTube video. Just 1 second.
Yeah.
What he's talking about, you see how corners actually are the most soundproof. Like it even says, corners can improve structural integrity. Fewer outward-facing open sockets, which means fewer 30 mil or tripod situations, but they're structurally more sound rather than squares. And like these are all faces. Where it's red right here, these are all faces, right? And squares add 2. These are usually only going to add 1, depending on how you connect them. The less faces you have, the better off you are. That's what he was trying to get at.
Yeah, more triangles, but this is the trade-off, where if you want to add a fire suppression, you need at least 2 squares that are not AI. So you need to figure out how you're going to balance it out. So I think we're going to see some interesting designs where it's going to be like 4 or 5 triangles that all have AI connected to it, and then behind those there's going to be like a layer of squares. It's going to be like, you know, medical bunker, garrison, like the fire suppression garrison, and then it's the engine room, and then the storage room or a ramp or something like that. Anyway, so 30 more changes. This is something I don't know if you missed it, but this is in the patch notes. This is massive. If you haven't seen this before, have you ever run through a like town base as a partisan and the rifles shoot at you and nothing happens? This is a change that's going to counterbalance this. So 30 mil changes to G houses where they, like, you know, you roll in with a chieftain and you get tapped to death and you die. That's one of the big changes. But the other big changes is, how many times have you seen motherfuckers try and sneak into a town base with satchels or havoc charges and they just run through the G houses like it's nothing? It's because the G houses are fall-off damage. That is now gone. So rifles inside of windows are much stronger too. So you driving through a town, ignoring all the G houses, and then hitting the town base with 250 and winning, that's not going to be a thing anymore. Including the fact that if you're a solo person running through the town with a havoc charge and just like solo running in, planting the havoc charge, running back, grabbing another one, and like going back and forth and slowly whittling away before anyone can actually notice what's going on and QRF you, that's not going to be a thing either, because you're gonna approach that town base and the basic rifle pull box, the rifle window. I don't want to put it. The rifle window is just gonna dome you in the skull, and you're gonna bleed, or you're going to stutter, and then the second shot will finish you off. So again, 30 mil change is great for anti-chieftain stuff, and anti-ballista stuff, but also the big thing is, like, you're not just gonna be able to like break a town base with 1, 2, 3, 4 people. You're gonna need a coordinated 30, 40 people push. You're gonna need to bring flamethrowers. You're gonna need to bring flamethrowers to suppress G houses. Like, if you want a mammon rush, or you want a hydra rush a town base now, you're gonna have to bring in the flame trooper squad for that. You're gonna have to throw out smokes. You're gonna have to put smokes on those windows, put them on fire. G houses ablaze, fire suppresses it. Then you do your hydra rush. Again, adding more layers and more involvement to, you know, infantry gameplay, as opposed to just, oh hey, we waited for everyone to log off and we rolled a chieftain and we won.
Yeah, and I'm excited for that.
Everyone to log off and have it someone. Yeah.
I like how it's definitely, it's weird because it's like we bring up one point. I see, like, as we've gone through this conversation, we go from bunker base to attacker, G house to attacker. What I feel like the devs are doing, and you've said it, they're layering up each section of the game and its engagement. Much like how they've massively improved the builder update, which we've been anticipating for 5 years. Not really, but long time. They're incorporating a system to where one side's not going to be dominant. It's the side that wants it more is going to achieve what, you know what I mean? Like, and it's not, I guess, want, but what I guess I'm trying to say is there's a way to do everything now. There's a way to attack bases, and there's a way to defend bases. And I think it's going to really shake up the game. Like, it's not gonna be. I don't think Foxhole is gonna be the same as it's ever been. I don't feel like Foxhole is gonna feel the same at all next week. It's gonna feel very refreshing, guaranteed next game. There's gonna be bullshit. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and fucking powder puff the devs. There are gonna be bugs with this new stuff. I guarantee it. There's gonna be some annoyances. There's gonna be some exploits. These are things we have to anticipate. But the general scope of what they wanted and what they've presented to us, I put it at a fucking A+, dude. I honestly, I'm scared for the breach mechanic, but I see why it's there, and that goes in. I don't even know where my tinfoil hat's at right now, but I'll grab it if you want. They're getting ready for air, guys. Like, I don't know if you're understanding. Breaching is for air, 100%. Bro. That's the.
Yep,
breaching is for Air Force. They needed to add it, and they need us to enhance the system and test it rigorously through these next couple of wars with these Alquitos and the King Jester 2.0.
Jesters.
You know, they're testing for air, guys. I would not be shocked if we get a very copy-paste looking, maybe a little different change, but this is what's going to be fucking probably dropping from the skies with different skin codes, you know, different skins. I would be very shocked if a 500 pounder from a bomber didn't do a lot of what a 250 Fury does. That would be I would see a very similar stat card between those two. Much like I guarantee you there'll be rockets. That's just a guess, but I'm imagining there's going to be rockets on planes for the Warden bomber. It's going to be like a,
110 pods. Yeah,
exactly.
Pods.
It'll be like 110 pods, and I think that's what the Warden bomber is going to be more like, is a strike fighter. And they're going to send like 10 of those fucks at your bunker base. And, then the Kali bomber, you're going to hear the B-52s or the B-29s floating overhead, and you're just going to see 5 fucking 250 Furies. Dum, 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 dum. And it's going to be cool. It's going to be really cool. So it's definitely moving that way.
So here's my tinfoil hat. I should also get the hat ready next time. But here's my tinfoil hat. I think the next 2 wars is going to be a test bed, like a real proper test bed, not just test branch, but a test bed for the breach mechanic on non-breach designed weapons as well. Because
explain.
One thing that we discovered with Dev Branch, we have 3 weapons that are specifically designed to always roll for breach checks. So the way that a breach works is, if your bunker base takes a certain amount of damage, any explosive has a chance to breach it if it is below its breachable HP percentage. So if you're Mammon rushing, for example, and let's say a bunker piece that you're hitting has a breachable HP of 60%, right? That means that the Mammons need to do enough actual explosive damage to bring the max HP, the current HP of that bunker piece below 60%. Then consequently after that, every other Mammon that hits the bunker base has a percentage chance to make a hole to breach to get in. So I think the devs are going to be testing non-breach specific weapons in the next 2 updates, and I'll tell you why. Because 1, the new crux for breaking bunker bases and actually opening fronts is going to be weapons that are able to breach from any percentage health, not just generic explosives. And currently, there's only 3 things in the game that can do that. Havoc charges, Electo, and Jester 2s, right?
300?
Those are the only 3 weapons.
Does 300?
No.
Okay.
No,
I didn't know if
just
they
does
did.
a fuck ton of damage now.
Okay. I didn't know if it had the chance.
It doesn't.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes. So those 3 weapons are basically high velocity demolition, if I can call it that way. These are weapons that will always have a chance to breach, and currently the strongest of the 3 right now is the Electo, because the Electo has a 50-50 chance that every single time a shell lands on a bunker piece, like a square or a triangle, it has a 50-50 chance to make a breach straight away. There's also some smaller factors that play into it. For example, if it hits an 80 garrison, I think it has a slightly better chance of breaching. But essentially, it's a coin flip every single time the Elector breaches. Now, I think that mechanic is going to, first of all, I think it's going to get nerfed. So this is the strongest that we're ever going to play with the Jesters, the Electors, and the Havocs. This is the strongest we're going to have them. I think at this point it's only going to go down because they can fuck up a meta piece from full HP. Now the big thing that the devs are going to be playing around with is whether or not regular, non-high velocity demolition damage will also be able to do that on random coin flips if the breachable HP goes below a certain percentage. So, for example, right now, not right now, but in Dev Branch, a lot of people found that you're able to breach bunker bases very easily with coordinated Mammon rushes on specific pieces if they drop below a certain percentage HP. So, for example, if there's a meta piece that has an 80 garrison on it and a whole bunch of like MGs that are facing in basically a cone that infantry can squeeze through, so there's like a blind spot, then if you coordinate a Mammon rush down that blind spot and you just focus an 80 piece, then the excessive amount of Mammons that hits that spot, you just overwhelm that piece with the amount of Mammons that you throw, so that you don't really care if it's a definite breachable percentage chance. You just want a small percentage chance, and you just keep throwing lots and lots of Mammons. So what this meant was,
does 40 mil go into that category too? Can 40 mil do this?
All weapon types that are explosive or higher can do that. So 40 mil is explosive damage, so yes. But here's
not
the
68
thing.
though.
68 is not explosives. He said is armor penetrating.
That's what I thought. So it's only HE rounds. Yeah. So that's 30 tremolas, cutlers. RPG. I'm trying to.
Yep.
I understand what you're saying, but I'm trying to explain it for people that maybe don't understand it.
Well, let me simplify. In Foxhole, we have different damage types. We have kinetic, anti-tank kinetic, heavy kinetic, etc., etc., etc. Within Foxhole, we have explosive damage, and explosive is basically explosive damage is essentially something that can do damage to everything, but it tends to only do a small percentage amount of HP damage based on what it's hitting. So explosive damage is basically the Mammon is your entry point to doing explosive damage. Everyone can throw a Mammon, everyone can damage a structure. Tank shells, generally speaking, are explosive damage as well, except anti-tank tank rounds. So 68 mil, 94.5, those tend to not do a lot of structure damage. They tend to focus on penetrating armor and killing the inhabitants inside, just like IRL, right? You have specific shaped charges that penetrates armor and destroys it, as opposed to just big boom and causing trouble. So that's explosive damage. So 30 mil, the entry point is Mammons and 30 mil, and everything larger than that tends to be explosive type damage. Then you get high explosive damage, and high explosive damage only comes from artillery. So that's mortars, 120s, 150s, and 300 mil. Those are high explosive. The best way I can describe it is high explosive normally is from weapons that only do indirect fire. So if you can't get an aim line, then if you have an aim line, it tends to be explosive or armor penetration damage. If you have to put an azimuth in and you have to shoot at an arc, that tends to be a high explosive round. So right now, the game doesn't differentiate between high explosive damage and explosive damage when the game is calculating whether or not a bunker piece can be breached if it's below its percentage breachable HP. So the one thing that people figured out during Dev Branch is if a bunker base, so there's a big gap, but here's the net result. Here's the TLDR. If a bunker base is below its breachable HP, so if the breachable HP is, let's say, 60%, if its current HP is 52%, the best way to make a hole is to Mammon rush it, because you want to throw as many projectiles on the bunker base as possible to do the dice roll to see if it makes a hole. And it doesn't matter what type of damage it is. It doesn't matter if it's 40 mil, it doesn't matter if it's 30 mil, it doesn't matter if it's artillery shells, high explosive. It doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is as many projectiles hitting the damn thing while it's below its breachable HP. And I think the devs are going to be testing this mechanic like fucking crazy the next 2 wars behind the scenes. And the reason why I think this is because that is what's going to determine what type of bombs we get.
The reason I'm so...
That's the most important part. Yeah.
The reason I'm so adequate about asking, because much like when the Spothas first came out, they could literally, like, you get 5 or 6 of them in a line, they could overdo ATG line, like a full halberd. You get 10 of those things, they could out DPS. Yeah. So what I'm thinking is if you had enough Spothas pinpointing on a certain spot when it's below a certain HP, the fire rate, these are the fastest firing rate tank in the game. Throw enough shit at the wall, something's gonna stick.
So, do you want me to scare you even more? There's one tank that shoots faster.
Oh, Brigand.
The fucking Brigand. Yeah. I'm seeing a war where 120s are landing on top of a front meta piece. Meta piece goes below that percentage breachable HP. And then you just roll up with 4 Brigands in a line. Perfect square. You roll up and just go repeater. They start retaliating, you pull back, and you just reload, and you wait, and then you pull up and you do it again. And the other weapon that can do that is fucking Rancier. I'm excited, dude. I'm a Rancier main. For people who are watching, I'm a Rancier main. I love the Quadish. It's my baby. I play in a Quadish almost every war. It is a juicy fucking tank. No one likes playing it because it's quote unquote boring and you can't kill anything with it. Blah blah blah. Cope. I don't give a fuck. I love the Rancier. The Rancier plays the same way as the Brigand.
One thing I don't
honestly,
like...
oh god. I wonder if side tangent. I wonder if the Bone Law could do that as well. I think the Arc RPG is armor penetration, so I don't think it rolls. Because can you imagine concrete bases dying to our fucking Bone Laws? Dead man, don't listen to this podcast.
They already don't, dude. One thing though that I am a little frustrated that did not get addressed is machine gun exclusive tanks did not get their bloom mechanic changed at all. And that I don't mind if it's like when it gets suppressed, if it gets bloom, but I don't like when I'm in a Scorpion and I'm driving, my bloom gets big. And I don't like when I'm shooting my Scorpion that my bloom automatically gets big. If I'm getting suppressed, I can live with that. Get out of the suppression, reorient yourself, get back in. But what I'm not liking with the Scorpion and the Ransor and the Spitfire or Kingspire, not Spitfire, Kingspire, the Warden machine gun tank, all of these tanks are having the same issue. When they're shooting, their bloom just goes and it just stays at max. It doesn't come back in. It just, when you're shooting, it's out. It doesn't go back in. And when you're moving in these tanks, the bloom gets big. And these are designed machine gun tanks. And that's something I wish they would look into. I'm not saying I want fucking laser beam like Lamentums in these things to just fucking laser beam. But I do think if the tank is stationary and, I don't even care if it got big and then honed back in. Or if they did a certain mechanic to make machine gun tanks feel better. Because that's one strength that the Wardens get early game that they can't exploit as well anymore with this Kingspire. The Kingspire...
Okay.
Oh, well, I just think that that's an early game tank for them that they really used to abuse, and I didn't see it that much in the past 2 wars. And, again, that's a really big buff for the Collies later on with the Scorpion, and, to be honest, the Ransor. They're not as effective machine guns as they used to be. Now, they're not bad. Don't get me wrong. They're not, like, inusable. I'm not whining. I'm just saying, I remember back when they were, before Splash or before
Bloom,
Bloom, and now they don't feel good. And it's not to say that they're bad or that they just don't feel the same. And I don't like the way they feel right now, especially with how they can't defend themselves against anything with actual tank rounds. Infantry can suppress them with 20 mil. And God forbid if they accidentally hit a fucking, pillbox now, good fucking luck. 30 mil's gonna come ream them. So, I don't know. I just think machine gun trucks or machine gun based vehicles, that's their main armament. I don't think they need a buff. I think they just need to change the bloom mechanic a little bit on them. That's all. Kind of like what they did with the LTD. Yeah. Just not crazy. Not go overboard to where they're laser beams. I still want them to get suppressed, but I want them to be a little bit more accurate because that's their whole design. And if they're shooting at max inefficiency all the time, that just doesn't bode right with me, And you said the Quadish, and that's one of the tanks I thought would be really good. That's its one thing, and it's on a stabilized chassis, and that's like one of the most advanced tanks in the game is the Bardiche. That's the brand new tank, quote unquote, in the lore of the game. That's the most technologically advanced is the Bardiche. The Quadiche.
So the Quad. Yeah, I gotcha. So here's an interesting thing for you. Why do you want the MG to be pinpoint accuracy? Is it specifically so you can dome infantry from decent enough ranges? Is that the reason?
No, the reason why is their job is to protect tank lines 90% of the time, and when there's a ton of infantry running through, and you're aiming on one guy with your crosshair, and you're aiming at him, and you're seeing the rounds go all around him, and not actually to him. It's the role that they play, right? They need to be accurate to deflect infantry rushing. Now, I get the whole, when you're in a trench and you get fucking dome pieced, but let's be honest, the field machine gun didn't get a splooge nerf. I call it splooge, but they didn't get the, they still fucking dome early game, and so why, I question, why does the field machine gun get this, why do they get this write-off and these tanks don't? That just seems silly to me.
So, you answered your own question. So first of all, I think that the Scorpion, King Spire, Battle Tank 12.7, Highwayman 12.7, and Chieftain 12.7 serve a much different role in the battlefield now than before infantry update. So infantry update, yes, they all got nerfed. But you actually want the blue. And I'm going to convince you, but I'll convince you why. The purpose of these tanks that I just listed is you're supposed to suppress trenches before they suppress you. Yes, 20 mil can suppress your tank line, but 12.7 has a higher priority to suppress over 20 mil. Not so much 30 mil because it's tripod mounted, but it's 20 mil and what's the other damage type? I can't remember, but basically 12.7 is supposed to counter a trench line of dudes with 20 mil inside the trench to suppress tank lines when the tank line pushes forward to poke or to take a shot. And Scorpion, I'm going to go on Scorpion example just to standardize it. The Scorpion is good at this because you have two machine guns that both bloom in relatively the same arc with the intersection that they can shoot with. You actually want the bloom because you want to cover as much area as possible to suppress infantry, not to kill them. Yes, 12.7 is historically amazing for doming infantry and killing them and bleeding them right away, but you can still do that. It just depends on your weapon platform. That's why the 12.7 push gun is still laser fucking accurate at sniping infantry, because it's supposed to kill infantry. But if you want to stop like a sticky rush coming towards your tank line and hitting them from the front because you don't have any forward-facing 12.7, the Scorpion is not a good weapon to do that. A better weapon to do that is a Lamentum half-track, because a Lamentum half-track will stutter the front infantry running forward, knock them over, the back infantry gets stuck on them, and then you mow them down and finish them off. So it's still in the game. It's just the weapons that used to do both roles have now seen a split in their use case. That's why you see less people using Scorpions, because I can't kill infantry with it, but you can still carry a lot of BMATs, and you can suppress more infantry over a wider arc for relatively cheap RMAT investment. But if you want to kill infantry, you have to start playing like I do, motherfucker. I bring the 12.7 fucking push gun to late game BT battles. I fucking do it because I kill infantry. And the other weapon that didn't suffer as much bloom, it's still fucking really good, is the base armored cards for both factions. And that is also something that I've been saying. Go look at all my fucking weapon/vehicle tier list videos. I always say you need every serious tank line needs to have 1 or 2 armored cars inside of it. Yeah, armored cars suck and you die to 168 in your like vehicle chassis, but you stop fucking sticky rushes and you stop specifically flask rushes while it was still good. Flasks kind of suck now, but you kind of needed it. So yeah, I get what you're saying. It feels bad to play in them, but I do feel like mid-range 12.7 tank based machine guns are meant to suppress enemy infantry, not outright kill them. If you want to outright kill them, you're gonna have to bring precision 12.7.
Well, I would guess then why wouldn't a half track just be outright better then? A half track would just be outright better. Absolutely. Well, that's my point. Yes, Momentum half track would do both those things. Suppress. It would do both of those things, but better. So you're just making the Scorpion worse.
But yes, but it comes at the no, because a half track can't carry 600 BMATs, and it cannot tank 94.5. The Scorpion can.
Bullshit. I've seen a tank I watched a tank bounce two fucking 94.5s.
You're not gonna win this battle. I have the hundreds of hours in fucking tier 3 Scorpions. Okay? I have hundreds of hours in tier 3 Scorpions. I will shove my fucking Scorpion inside of a Starbreaker to kill it. And I've done it. It's awesome. I just don't have a footage of it. But I have hundreds of hours.
Not real.
No, Scorpions are fine. Scorpions are fine. But I will say this much. I like the notion of having choice. So what they should probably do is in the future, and I know Markfoot is maybe listening. Markfoot, do this. Field modification stations, let me tweak the parameters of my vehicles. Let me choose. I want that precision 12.7, but it no longer suppresses.
See, this is something I've said too.
Imagine that.
Oh, yeah.
Field modification station actually modifies.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I've said this for a long time, is a Scorpion, I think it'd be really cool if you put it through the field mod. It takes away its 2 Hyvo 12.7s and puts tripod mounts on.
Oh.
Hold on, though.
Oof.
Hold on, though. You start...
Dude,
you start looking at 230 mil Scorpion? Woo! That'd be a scary little dog. Now, it's still a slow piece of shit, but that DPS module would be insane. I mean, imagine two Fishuras. Make it the universal carrier everyone wants it to be. That's what everyone uses it as anyway, is a carrier. Let it be the universal carrier it deserves to be. Let us have 2 tripod mounts in there. Oh my, the diabolical shit people would cook up with that. It would be a tank the collies would be. A lot of us veterans still value the Scorpions. It's still one of my top 5 tanks in all of the game.
Yeah,
I love running them.
Yep, same.
But you would see the utility of Scorpions go from like to like S tier. Outlaws would still be able to bully them. They're way faster. Silverhands would still be able to out DPS them in a head on. God forbid a fucking Bone Law pulls up on one of those things. It's helpless. It would be cool. It would be a really cool dynamic change for the Scorpion. I really feel like that'd be really cool.
Yeah.
Or
anyway, let's. Yeah. What?
Oh, Fondly in chat said something good.
In his head. Look at him, chat. Look at him, chat. He's modifying tanks in his head. Look at him.
Something else that would be really cool is how the Harvester is our only mine clearer right now? Imagine if you could take off the give the Scorpion a dozer blade, clear trench husks and shell holes. Imagine if you could make it like an impromptu kind of leveler, you know, a dozer blade. I was like, I haven't said a lot about chat this whole time, but fondly, a new guy in chat, he said that. I'm like, all right, God, that's a good fucking cooking statement, dude. That was pretty hot. I like that. So, other than that, though, like going, you know, kind of off, you know, we kind of went off field like we always do. But going back into Update 61 and looking at everything coming forward, I am very interested to see, like I said, the worst aspect I think of it, which isn't bad, is I think the breachable chance. We're going to have to see how this shakes out. I'm very interested. I'm optimistic. Yeah. I mean, God forbid the bunker design that I built was designed to be anti-breach. I'm interested to see how people shake up their builds to be anti-breach or, you know, anticipate breaches, to not allow breaches kind of thing. I'm very interested to see how all this goes, but one thing I don't think we've touched on enough, I don't think I'll ever see the number of storm cannons go over 25 again.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
So this is the the arguable, but we'll see.
I mean, they're so much stronger now. They're actual super weapons, dude. They're, you know, when you see,
I tested it
exactly. Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying is you see these now weapons. You know, oh, when we're not gonna get as many, it's like, would you trade having 100 that are dog shit versus 25 that are really good? I don't know what the answer to that is, you know, because I can see the benefit of having an ultra high value like piece like that really dominating the field and shaking up the meta. I'm really interested in seeing, you know, this more of, you have the storm cannon and everyone breaches out to protect it all around. Bunkers would be now like, you know, you might have HVL build the storm cannon, then you have Bone on the bridge up here defending the bridge and saying, HVL, we need your help, get up here, they're cracking us. And then you have your bunker design if they crack through us. And then it's this kind of work together for the hex almost. You have one storm cannon, a hex, and it's like all hands on deck to protect this thing. And then when the ships come in, or, you know, the really big pushes coming in, you see that motherfucker, you know, you hear that storm cannon crack, you're going to start freaking out a little bit more than you used to. I mean, storm cannons have always been scary, but not this scary. Not this scary, bro. Yeah. It's crazy.
And I totally agree with you. The again, one of the indirect changes, which I wholeheartedly believe that the devs didn't intend for, because it's a really hard thing to sort of research and gauge, is how player interaction is going to work with layered defense in the actual like social aspect of the game. Mm-hmm. Now, you gave a really good example where it's like you might have regiments, instead of just picking a lane, they pick a layer within that lane that they want to actively play in as well. So, for example, HVL could be in the back, and we're making storm cannons and we're prepping all that shit, and we're designing and focusing our bunker-based designs on concrete because we want to get to tier 3 as fast as possible so that we can get storm cannons to defend against rocket artillery, ships, and just general out-dueling the other stuff that's X amount of kilometers away. But the really interesting part is the layer behind that as well, because they changed, or they buffed, intel centers, nuke sites, and weather stations. And weather stations still LARPy. And of course they added in underground fortresses. Feelings.
I just want to let you know.
I know, whatever. Hey, look. I believe weathers. I think weathers. Okay, so here. Okay, I want to fix feelings with the weather station. The dude with the weather station tattooed on his arm. Let me fix your feelings, or let me save your feelings. Okay. Weather stations are going to be so pivotal for airborne that any bunker base that exists in the mid to front line that doesn't have a weather station is going to be called a LARP base. What? Fucking clip me, ship it for when airborne ships out. If you want to run aircraft, you're gonna need fucking weather stations in every mid to front bunker base, and every bunker base that doesn't have a weather station is just going to be called a lark base. Why the hell would devs move weather stations from advanced bunkers, or like three garrison upgrades back in the tech tree? You can make a weather station. You can build a weather station the same time you could build a tier 2 observation. A tier 3 observation bunker. What the fuck? Okay, no use for it this war. No use for it the next war. No use for it next patch. But everyone's gonna drop. Bam! Weather stations are you. If you want to fly your bomber or your plane or whatever, you're gonna need to fly it over weather stations to like actually have cloud cover or cloud clearing. Watch this space.
That brings up one of the coolest aspects that I don't think a lot of people are understanding. And one thing I really hope the devs are cooking up in the background, enhanced weather systems to where you not. What if we can't fly bombers for a legit in real life week because the air would just crash your plane? That's going to piss so many people off, but it's going to be so like just so fucking cool. You could have like a Bastogne situation where, you know, you have the one place getting encircled and then the fucking air clears, the Logi bombers come in and drop fucking, oh my gosh, dude, the LARP's gonna be insane.
It's gonna be even worse. It's not just gonna be an aspect of like, oh, you're gonna jump in your plane and be like, oh, you cannot take off because the weather condition doesn't. No,
it'll let you go. It'll let you go.
No, it'll let you go. And the moment you fucking get off the ground, that's why you need fucking weather stations everywhere.
Dude, I'm telling you, bro, it's gonna be so wild, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, it's gonna be so good. So good, dude.
Anyway, But again, back to the layering aspect, because they buffed all the other super weapons except weather station, lol. Where these weapons are going to see a completely new life in the mid to back line. Okay, how many wars do we go in where motherfuckers have intel centers that are too far away to do anything? That is no longer going to be a thing in this next patch. Even the intel centers that are sitting in like Ashtown that serve literally zero purpose, 95% of the war, will now be able to point at origin and ping the map if we suspect that there's a frigate rolling in, just because the devs added 500 meter range to it. Boosh. Midline bunker base builders, rejoice! You're gonna be able to do something other than put M subs in your tunnels. And maybe cure everything in a partisan that comes in every now and then. It's great. I love it. Again, we're just hyping up the fucking fact that the bunker base changes on a whole have made the game more interesting and engaging for people to play in. Yes, your frontline bunker pieces can't retaliate against 10 ballistas anymore. Lamal, unfortunate. But you can actually have more interesting gameplay loops besides that.
Well, okay, hold on. Take that back. You said that we can't hold off against 10 ballistas with AT pills, landmines, and fucking garrisons. Fucking A, bro. Like, there's gonna be some crazy shit happening in this war. And this isn't gonna be like we only have like 10 people in the hex. I guarantee you this is gonna be a popped war. This war right now, kind of a lot of people are taking breaks, a lot of people are just fucking around, you know. Next war's gonna be Anvil's coming. I mean, God forbid Broken Arrow's coming out in a few fucking days. You won't see me, you know, on Foxhole.
Oh no, I meant this war was the Anvil playtest. Half the fucking Foxhole population is playing.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So it's like, dude, it's going to change. It's going to be a popped war, so we're going to get actual results. I'm guessing it's going to be a popped war. It's an update war, so that automatically means more pop, but it's a builder update. Yep. A lot of people are interested in this. A lot of people are interested in the new changes. People are going to want to do the grind for their storm cannons. You know, like, I really think a popped war is what the game needs, and I think that's what we're going to get. I think we're going to get a really big, really action-packed, heavy-hitting war that'll go to the bitter end. I really feel it, and I'm excited, dude. I got the hiccups. Fuck.
I'm as well. Can I monologue about Logi changes?
I guess. Yes, we must
Okay.
talk about logic. What's up?
So I said at the start of the podcast, I have some interesting predictions that's going to happen with Logi change, like the changes to the like logistics change, uh, based on the changes that happened in the infantry update combined with this patch, and it's super interesting, right? Up until now, there's been a lot of stuff that the devs added to facilities that make very, very little sense and ultimately result in very, very minimalistic impact on front lines. The two big ones is tripod factories and some aspects of the new infantry kit factory modifications that they added. So tripod factories, first of all, see very, very little gameplay because no one ever uses an entire palette of tripod weapons. Think about it. When was the last time you saw someone bring in a flatbed with 120 ISGs on it and every ISG gets used correctly?
It's never happened.
It doesn't fucking happen. Never happens.
It's never
Guess what
happened.
now? Bunker ever happened, yes. But now bunker bases, you can now put storage rooms inside your bunker base that doesn't hurt the integrity of the bunker base. So we're gonna see fucking ammo racks of ISGs sitting in bunker bases, ready to be fucking yoinked off the wall and smacked onto tripods or smacked into firing ports and open fire. Fucking awesome. So that has already made a new life for a facility building that's been gathering dust since Inferno. Nobody has been making tripod factories and actually using tripod factories for the intended purpose of palleted tripod weapons that get to a front line and actually see use. 99% of the time, someone makes 1,000 ISGs or 1,000 Lamentums, and they dump it in front of a seaport and be like, hey, can someone take this? And then it just decays because eventually it just gets wasted fucking material. But now we're actually going to see people take pallets of tripod weapons to the front, or more realistically, a tripod weapon in the back line, making boxed ISGs and boxed Lamentums. And then it gets to a frontline bunker, people pull it out, they take it to their bunker base, they put it in the bunker base inventory, or I hope, please, people make fucking storage rooms and just do the larpy fucking ammo racks loaded with ISGs and ready to go. That shit is going to be so fire.
I do think they need to add one thing to bunkers, though. And this is something that I really wish they needed, that pairs with what you're saying. And we've talked about this, and you know what I'm going to say right now. With the storage rooms, you can have the guns, but that doesn't help get ammo to the guns up the front. I want an ammo storage room that can store 30 mil, 20 mil, gas and tremolas. Goddamn, I wanted to say Futura, but I want an ammo room that can store that at the front, like maybe 100 of each or something, maybe even 50 of each. Just as a stockpile that when you're in the guns and you go through all 15 of your rounds, you're not running 2 structures back to go grab and fat ass walk all the way back. Yeah. You can have a truck just keep hauling ammo from one place to the other, or God forbid if they ever make 30 mil a round that you can actually, or going even further into nonsense that's not in the game, imagine if we could put crates on the back of a fucking flatbed train car, and you did a flatbed train car that goes from your bunker, pulls a crate out, drives back, puts the crate in the ammo storage room. But stuff like that.
Actual, like ammo boxes.
Real ammo crates that you could have some, like a heavy item case that someone can carry, and just run up there, drop 30 rounds, and then you pick up your box, run back, and you have an ammo runner. It's an ammo runner. Crates should become heavy items. I really think that there should be a crated section in bunkers and a non-crated section. And I think that if you had crates of like 30 mil that you could ship up to the front, it'd be a large item, and then you could ship that into an ammo room, dump it all, and then go grab another one, and then just keep ammo room, like an actual ammo room, stocked up with shit that will defend your base. And like, God forbid everyone knows what I'm talking about with Starbreakers and 75. Imagine if you got that same ordeal with 75s. an actual ammo room that you could dump a crate full of 75 or 94.5 in. I obviously know you can do the storage room, but what I'm saying is like an ammo room, a designated ammo room. That's, I guess 75 is not a great place to go with it because that can already be done in the storage, but you kind of get my gist.
Yeah, but I get the idea. Like small munitions that get loaded into relatively small firearms. We're not talking about physical shells that go into like a large barrel or a rifle barrel. Yeah. So Bear, I have good news for you. This mechanic, the mechanism for this to work is already in the game, Bear. They added it last patch. It is called the multi-slot, the multi-item slot. So, here's the thing. The devs have paved the way with a relatively small, interesting change, but they added in an entire underlying game mechanic to support a change like this. The multi-slot item, for people who don't know, is last patch. The devs changed the basic fuel truck to now have a single item inventory slot that changes based on the first item that you put into it. So previously, the fuel truck had like a large UI where you could put in 25 cans of fuel. Anything that you want. You could put 10 cans of diesel, 10 cans of petrol, and then like 5 cans of heavy oil. That's totally something that you could do. But the devs changed that vehicle by adding in a brand new mechanic that it has a single item slot, and the moment you put something in it, that will now change the entire inventory of that vehicle to be a mono item type for that entire vehicle. So now what you do is if you have an empty fuel truck and you put a single can of diesel, that now becomes a diesel fuel truck. You put a petrol can in it, it becomes a petrol fuel truck. So this mechanic can now be applied to anything in the game that has an inventory slot. So
they just need to add it.
What's to stop the devs from adding this interesting new mechanic to storage rooms where it doesn't put so when you have a storage room and you put your ISGs in, it now gains a multi-slot that can hold 30 mil, 100 of them.
Yeah.
So, if you have a storage room, you can now put your ISGs in. The moment the ISGs are put inside that ammo rack, the game goes, oh, this is an ISG storage room, because you can't mix and match. You can't put like ISGs and Typhons and Lamentums inside an ammo rack. It'd be kind of cool if they could, but it doesn't. And I don't think that's going to change at all because the inventory system works a little bit differently. But the moment you put that in, you now get a multi-slot inside that bunker base that allows you to preload 30 mil into that bunker base the moment the game detects that ISGs are now present in the storage room.
That would be really cool.
And the same
that would help a lot.
And the same thing applied to the ammo box large item that you keep talking about. You literally just have a generic item with a multi-slot in it that the moment you put a single 30 mil round inside your ammo box, that now becomes a 30 mil ammo box.
Or mortars.
And you can put it on a pallet. You can load it up, you can put it on a pallet, and then you ship a pallet of 30 mil to a front line, and then people pull it off and they deploy it, and then the ISG fucking machine guns just go crazy, bro.
Or mortar teams can now use...
Or mortar teams. 12.7. 40 mil. Imagine having one of these fucking ammo boxes in your Spatha, because the Spatha can hold a single generic item. What if you can roll out with the Spatha and you have an ammo box that has, just for
10.
balance sake, let's say the ammo box 10. How fucking awesome would it? Just imagine the versatility that tanks get to just deploy, an ammo box out in the field, quickly reload the barrels, reload the internal stockpile of your tank in the ground. And, the devs can play around with it. Maybe there's an assembly time that, as you assemble items from a bunker base, maybe that assembly time is
Scorpions,
still
bro. Imagine a scorpion full of like 10 of them, bro. Oh my god.
It'll be, or not just scorpions, but shout out to my boy Little John in HVL.
Just an ammo truck.
Imagine if literally he loves to play with the the hoplites with the trailer attached to it, and then the trailer just holds 10 different ammo boxes. That's mortars, 40 mil, 68, B-mats.
That's
Bro.
such a cool idea, dude. I've said that for so
Cool.
long.
And again,
It's already there.
The mechanic is there. The devs just need to go, hey, let's quickly put an ammo box in. It'll take us 5 minutes because all we have to do is make a new game entity. Let's just, make a quick debug box and then put in a multi-box slot in it. It's done, dude. It's like, I don't know, it's like 10 minutes dev time.
Okay. Here's one thing though that I really want to talking about this, and we already sparked on it a little bit. I personally think that the mortar tubes, I think you should be able to freehand them, but I think something cool about mortars that I would really like is if you got to place them on a tripod, if you could like auto attach one of those boxes with 10 rounds to it, so you don't have to have them on your person. You could just kind of like, how you, oh my god, it's already in the tripod system too. You lay the fucking thing on it, and then you come up and press B, and you lay the ammo box on it, and then you have 10 round mortar tube. Dum, 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 and you're not carrying anything on you. It's all on the tripod system and box. Pull box off, load box in. Pull box off, load box in. I mean, it'd be so cool.
Here's the cherry on top. The biggest thing that people have been asking for is for the engineer uniform to get a buff. Here's a buff for you, my guys. The engineer uniform can carry a ammo box unencumbered and sprint with it. Give it a unique interaction. Whoa! You literally see infantry pick, the engineer uniform outside the
Fuck
standard.
you! I love the engineer uniform. I love it. I run it. I don't even care. I like it.
No. It's cool. I mean, I
love.
For me personally, I only use the partisan uniform. I only use the partisan uniform because I'm a sticky guy. You know me. But like realistically speaking, there's no need to have engineer uniforms when I could just use a tank uniform that does the exact same thing as the engineer uniform. It doesn't. There's no, no reason not to. But yes, I don't know, guys. Let's talk more about update 61 stuff though, because again, you and I are just blue sky thinking again.
Hey, no, this is part of this. Hey, no, we were just talking. This is that was a part of update 61. That's a suggestion to add on to the new implementation that they added with the shooting
storage rooms.
Yeah. It's a part of the mortars were a little off bit, but that's a part of the whole box system, so it was a part of it. All right, we can engineer and brainstorm here. It's all right. So yeah, though, dude, right, I think Logi changes though. I think that they're also putting a massive preload on things that weren't really that useful before, aka they put vegan pecans on metal beams. Now they're doubling down and putting these new shooting slots on metal beams. Before that, all you could really do was put hedgehogs down with metal beams or the shitty bridges. Now metal beams are an essential part of being an engineer on the front now. You need metal beams produced and in your stockpiles. That's one thing that I really think that's cool.
Also, the most hilarious change came to the bowhead in the last update as well. It's the funniest change that 99% players won't understand. So they changed the bowhead. You can now put concrete mixers and construction equipment inside of bowheads. So the bowhead previously had an internal storage just for the mobile harvester, so you could put mobile harvesters. And the gameplay vision here is you go to an island, you deploy the bowhead, you offload mobile harvesters onto the island, and then the harvesters scoop everything up, take the raw resources back to the bowhead. They put it in the bowhead inventory through a storage container, and then the bowhead fills up with 100,000 of anything, and then it just fucks off. It puts the harvesters back on, unanchors, and then leaves. Here's the funniest thing that the devs have done to the bowhead. Because you can now put concrete mixers and construction equipment into a bowhead, they have created a mobile repair rig vessel in the game. What do I mean by that? Well, this is what I'm going to do with a bowhead now, because it's hilarious, and I'm the dude that makes crazy fucking ideas work in Foxhole. That's just what I do, okay? Here's the funniest fucking thing that they've now done for the bowhead. I'm going to take a bowhead, and I'm going to go to islands that have coal on it, and the coal is never harvested because no one really harvests coal on islands because it's too risky and gunboats can fuck you up. I'm going to deploy a bowhead next to a coal island. Then I'm going to put concrete mixers on that island, and I'm going to fill the concrete mixers with coal because the devs added a new recipe to the concrete mixer that allows me to convert coal into gravel just like a refinery can. Then I'm going to have concrete mixers that are filled with gravel. I will then extract that gravel and put it inside my bowhead. And I'm going to fill up my bowhead with 100,000 gravel. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my bowhead to an area that got fucking obliterated by artillery. And out of my bowhead, I'm going to pull out 100 construction equipment. And then I'm going to put construction equipment layered across the entire battlefield. I will then put 100,000 gravel distributed across all my construction equipment, and they are going to repair all the damage the artillery did in 10 minutes.
Here's another fun fact for you.
The fuck? That is so fucking... Why did the devs do this? This is the wildest, weirdest change ever.
Hold on. You know what's worse than this? You know what's worse than that? Guess what?
Shoot.
Guess what? After you get done doing that, and you have your 100 CVs all over, you can then, with your, 5, 10, 15 guys, whoever's with you, go lay down 100 strips of mines. And the CVs will dig the mines for you. And then you can lay them on top of each other and lay literal, 2,000 fucking minefield long strips of field. And then when the wardens or the collies come back through the area, they're going to go, what the actual fuck? There's literally, we would have to spend so much arty or explosives to kill these mines.
Explosives to clear it out.
It will literally not be fucking worth it because there's so many fucking mines. And they're going to go fucking insane.
Dude, we're going to see bowheads on the front line in fucking combat. What universe are I living in? This is the funniest change that I read through the patch notes.
Oh my
I was
God,
like,
so good.
I literally pulled my main guy was Altergash, who likes to concoct crazy ideas with me. I was like, dude, did you see the changes to the bowhead? And he's like, he's like, in his perfect French Altergash accent. He's like, why the fuck do the devs want to put gravel in fight bowheads? I don't fucking understand. It's fucking stupid. And I was just like, dude, no, we're gonna cook with this.
Dude, it's... Oh
dude,
my
so
God,
funny.
bro.
It's
just so
like,
crazy.
The smallest changes.
It's so crazy what's about to concur, dude, because like I said, bro, one thing that always irritates people is digging out minefields, right? Let's say that you dug out, let's just hypothetically say, the whole fucking island of Tempest with mines. Let's just say...
I could see me doing that for reasons I'm not going to go into, but yes.
But my point is, you could set those CVs down with all filled with gravel, go away in your bowhead, get more gravel, come back, your mines would be done, and then you come with your bluefin, come to the seaport, and drop off 200, 300 crates of fucking AP and AT mines, and you go, let's layer out the whole fucking island now, and just, you know what you could even do better than that? Then you could bring a small train with 4 carts full, and just go start auto-filling all the mine holes. You could do it in a little strip. And then once you're done with those, delete the mine rails, fill those mine rails up, and you have a full island literally full of mines where it doesn't matter if you bring a tank, arty, or infantry. You can't step on the ground. It's disgusting.
The barrier of entry for partisans and invasions goes from, oh, we just need to drop a barge and then we're in, to, oh, no, we need a frigate and, ammo runners to destroy all the minefields before we can make a landing. Yikes.
Yeah.
And you know how I did this? With a fucking bowhead.
Yeah.
A bowhead. Dude,
Yeah.
it's hilarious. It's just
It's not even hilarious.
I
It's
don't think
disgusting.
that
It's disgusting.
It
It's
is
gross.
disgusting. And
It's
the funny
gross.
part is, I don't think the devs were thinking about this. They were just like, oh, you know what? We should probably make it so that you can make gravel inside facilities.
People are
so
going to
people
need
use
it to test out the new CVs. They're going to need to test this stuff out. We're going to need to get them stuff. And then you have people like me and you that play the game too much, and you're like,
we're gonna
let's fucking
mine all the islands to death.
Yeah.
with a boat.
Yeah. Oh, you guys want to come land on fucking Origin? Yeah, there's about 17 fucking landmines or prepared landmine
so
fields
funny.
between you and the dirt there. So enjoy. You know, dude. Don't want to build up? Fine, mine it.
Mine it. Minecraft is
Mine
real. It's gonna be so cool.
That's the new
Minecraft
tactic
is
name.
real.
That's the new tactic. Minecraft. Just Minecraft it. Boop.
Yep.
Minecraft it. It's done.
Anyway.
It's gross.
Anyway, dude, this is super fun. You know what? I'm just gonna call out more changes that are just gonna be hilarious, dude. Some of the changes. Okay, we talked about rockets. Rockets are gonna be cool. The other super interesting change is, oh, by the way, Sharon's now match Ronin speeds. So, but you need to take. Okay, no, you know what? We're here, chat. We're here. Bone, Mr. Big Bear, you have to apologize to Markfoot. You have to be. You've been railing. Sorry, not Markfoot. It was Max. Sorry, you need to apologize to Max because you're like, the devs hate us because the Warden gunboat is designed to be superior to the.
Hey,
hold
hold on, T. Hold on. We're both gonna make a whole thing of this. Okay, I didn't say that out of my own words. I quoted them what they said in their live stream. So I will say, thank you for fixing the issue that was caused, and I appreciate the work you put in. I'm gonna pull a fucking siege camp here. I'm gonna fucking apologize. Alright? They made a mistake. They doubled down. I doubled down. Alright? We're playing fucking poker. But seriously, that is badass, though. I am happy that the Chiron's going to be actually potent against the, Warden Navy frigates, especially. They're going to be able to keep up with them and bully them extensively. That's awesome. All jokes aside, they did say that isn't supposed to be, and I think they may have watched a podcast saying that it pisses us off when they say shit like that. And maybe they wanted to fix it, and there's no apology. They just do a little micro buff right in there, and it's good. I'm happy. I am happy they're going to be super fast. And the thing is that a lot of people still don't understand about our gunboat. It turns better than their gunboat. Like, way better than their gunboat. Ours turns on a dime. It is open top.
Yeah.
That's a Kali exclusive, baby. It's a feature, not a bug. All right?
Yes. Yeah.
But we turn on a dime. So, theoretically, we should be winning all of the gunboat engagements out in 1v1s 90% of the time because we're going to be able to get on their broadside. It turns faster, and it's just as fast. They can't outrun you. They can't outgun you. You're going to have just as equal a chance as them. There's no excuse for the Kali gunboat other than the lucky decrew shot. But here's the thing that people need to stop whinging about. You can decrew their fucking driver too. Theirs is open top driver. So stop fucking whinging.
And you can decrew. Since I played Warden, the number one way that we got fucked by the gunboat fights is the front gunner can be decrewed by an ISG easily.
Exactly. There's weaknesses to both gunboats, and it's good now. There's I want to call it equilibrium. There's an equal balance to it. We're a bit wider, bigger, but we turn on a dime, same speed. That was the biggest fucking thing. Now we can get on their sides.
So just to dial it back, one point though is the reason why the Ronin is still more expensive than the Sharon is twofold. One, the Ronin has much faster acceleration, so it can get away faster. So if for example, a Ronin is in a stationary position and it's shelling, and a Sharon comes to chase it, it will be able to get up to speed quickly enough to at least be able to run. But when they're both at max speed, they're exactly the same. And the second thing is, and this is a change that they added as well, all gunboats can now self-repair on the water. Both gunboats.
Huge, dude. That's so big. That's so big.
Yeah.
Oh my god,
So
dude.
the advantage that the Ronin guys have is you have undercover repair for your so if there's like a fight and you need to repair in the field, colonial players have to take the risk of repairing out in the open, or you have to stand by one of those protective skirts to repair from there. Whereas the Sharon, you just stay indoor and repair. And I think that is still fine. I think that is still okay. I think it's still perfectly fine if the Ronin still has some strengths over the Sharon, but it's not just a number. It's not a number advantage. It doesn't just have better numbers. It has a unique, interesting aspect that it can pair.
Well, and that's the thing,
The
though.
new aspect for that is going to be the fact that they can repair safely in the middle of combat.
And we can outturn
whereas
them.
The Sharons can't.
And we can outturn them.
And
though.
we can outturn them.
That's the biggest thing.
Exactly.
Is we have the curve.
Yes.
We can get to where our guns are going to be more effective, and theoretically, even if it's a head-on, our gunboat or the Kali gunboat is going to be able to shoot 3 guns on 2 guns. That's a big fucking thing, man. And I don't say enough. I talk a lot of shit. I do say I do love their game, but goddamn, when they do try to patch shit and they see when we're frustrated, it might take them longer than we want, or they might, nerf it in a way that we want. They do end up getting things to where they need to be. And I think that, the growing pains aside, I am thankful that they have listened about the gunboat indifference. I really don't like the terminology they used in their update. I do like how they're still looking at the issue and now they're still addressing it. There are things, again, PR that I really fucking hate about Siege Camp, but I think the actual behind-the-scenes guys, they fucking care. And that's something we can't say. They do fucking care.
Bro, you talk about PR. Monologue for a little bit. You need to show your chat this one fucking Reddit thread. That is the funniest. It's literally given me life over the last 2 weeks. When the dev stream popped. It is. You're talking about like quote unquote bad PR, dude. I have the pinnacle of bad PR. Hold up. It's the funniest thing. Keep talking. Talk while I look for it.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
So yeah, I'm really happy that the gunboats have their aspect now. I'll call it like that. I'm glad that both gunboats have their appeal. I know a lot of people are going to be like, the room's so overpowered, but at the end of the day, 90% of gunboat fights don't end with, getting boarded in fucking this mash. It's usually the gunboat goes down because the mortar just pounded it fucking 15 times and it dies. And a lot of the time, if your driver's getting hit, you're not moving or they're really good fucking shots. So you could do the same to them with their driver. You know what I mean? That's the biggest thing. So now I feel like it's more skill-based, and I really like that. Another thing that I found very interesting is they reverted the changes on the CVs and cranes. Now, are you sure it was on... Okay. I got it, but hold on. I want to finish this. Did they do on the CVs as well? Did they revert the change on CVs or just cranes? Because I thought it was just cranes that could be built at safe houses again. And town halls.
No, it's both.
Both? Okay, so they reverted that change entirely.
Yes. The only thing that might still be persistent is I think you can still make them at garages. So it's garages and town halls now. But they
can you MPF them at all?
Yeah. You can still MPF them, but the bonus went from 5 back to 3. Okay, you need to show your... Okay, so look at the meme. Look at this meme. Show your chat. You have to, dude. This is
Max explains structural integrity.
No. Okay, once you've done that, look at the top comment.
Look, man, the game is fucking complicated.
Look who posted it. Look who commented.
Actually has me complicated, bro. That's fucking hilarious,
Because
bro.
of this comment, I screen capped it. It is
Oh.
now literally, this is my favorite sticker on Discord ever. When anyone
Oh
complains
my
and bitches about the
God.
game, you can see it. Dude, look at the fucking look at your Discord chat.
Dude, that actually gave me a little fucking tear, dude. Oh my god, bro. Oh my god, bro.
I love Max, dude. Max is just a bro. He is actually just. He
What
is
a
just a guy.
fucking dude. I
He
wish I
is
could have a
just-
beer with
he-
one of these guys, bro. I want to just hear what they fucking
Dude.
think behind the scenes, dude. Because fuck me. They gotta hate
dude.
us, dude.
Max puts on a face for the fucking dude. I'm 100% sure that Max puts on a fucking face for the dev stream, but the moment the dev stream is like done, he just puts on a t-shirt and he just like, okay, back to coding. How am I gonna
Rips
balance
the
31?
fucking
Dude,
bait,
he's one of the
dude.
guys, man.
I gotta get another fucking line of code done. Fuck. You know, dude. Oh my god, dude.
Puts
What
on
a
the beer
guy.
helmet.
Oh yeah,
Back to
bro.
code. He is, dude.
Just
So,
crush it.
okay, I want to look. The whole point about this is I want to
That was
give
funny.
Cadence just a tiny bit that I think fucking the dev streams are sometimes way too fucking strung up, and sometimes Max just misspeaks. So I really think, legitimately, bottom of my heart, when he said that the gunboats was supposed to be shitty for the colonials, we took it too seriously. We took it way too seriously. Like, I think he just misspoke, and dude, every single time he does dev streams, he has to explain really complicated things like justifying changing one of the gunboats. I think that was probably a complicated thing to do, but yeah.
It's so funny,
also,
dude.
Uh,
That's so funny.
on the, yeah, it's great, dude. This post to me, him making that reply just means to me that he is actually just a fucking human. He is just a dude. He is just a dude behind a screen. He's not.
Dude, my
serious.
favorite part of it though is he goes, "Look, man, ... and you know it's like one of those. Look, bro, game's fucking complicated. All right, like I'm doing my fucking best here, bro. Give me a fucking break. That's awesome,
It's
dude.
great, dude.
That's funny.
Anyway, okay. Back to random changes. Fissura now holds 20 grenades.
So
Hell yeah.
here's the thing. I can get.
No. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, gunboat that can hold 40 tremolos. Gunboat that can hold 40 tremolos. It's cooking. It's cooking. Gunboat that can hold 40 tremolos. Now, sure, I can shoot 40 tremolos, but what if I have a lunaire team on my gunboat and we do shore landings with gunboat? And I now have a way to give them 40 tremolos. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, for sure it's cooking, dude.
Oh my god, dude. That's fucking disgusting. The thing I was gonna say.
Okay.
Hold on.
Yeah?
I gotta say this. The one thing is, I can understand where this is kind of like the gas truck, where it's a good change, but it does sting a little bit because I can't carry everything anymore. And didn't the Fissura lose its smoke capability? Or does it still have it? Okay, good. One thing that really makes me happy about that, though, is in bunker designs, you can have 20 fucking gas grenades.
Yes.
And for defensive purposes,
Take a choice.
that's
Yeah.
huge. That's huge.
Yes, because just for references about why probably wardens watching this are like, why are they fucking overreacting over 20? Previously, you could only put 4 gas grenades in a Fissura.
Well, and
4. I can now put 20.
it doubles up too because we get grenadier uniforms. So if you max yourself out with grenadier uniforms, dump all 20, and then you can put 16 more in.
Yes.
And
Dude,
you just area denial for a
I'm
couple
going-
hours. Not hours, but you can do area denial so long that you can have a 40-second timer on your boys. They can run back in, restructure, reposition,
Yes.
and then you can go reload. People don't think about the 40-second spawn timers or the spawn timers or how long it takes for you to run to and fro and how much logi, like if I shoot you with an Argenti and you lose a gas grenade or gas mask with 2 filters, you don't understand how much logi pressure that's putting on. Now you're losing a kit, gas mask, filters, and I'm also putting on, I'm taking your shirts, I'm taking your gas mask, I'm taking area denial. These are all things that just mass up into, why do we not have gas mask? Why do we not have filters? Because they've sent 17 fucking 1,000 gas grenades at the fucking octagon we keep going in. And guys like, and we're just sitting there, we just keep bringing crates of fucking gas up. They keep coming in, area denial. They will not take this. Once you guys redo it, we'll reload the guns and just keep that consistent pressure. That's so big. That's so big.
Dude, the other best part about this though is I have tried experimenting with javelin Fissuras every so often.
One of Bone's favorites.
The problem with javelin Fissuras
One of Bone's favorites
is you just run out of shells. You don't have enough shells to do anything. But now what I'm going to fucking do is when I do Fissura javelins now, is I'm gonna have 2 guys with Fissuras on. They're just gonna do tremolas, and then I'm gonna have 1 javelin that's just going to toss gas. And everyone is going to have gas loadouts in grenadier uniforms inside the javelins too. So then when we're assaulting a town base, we're gonna open with the meanest fucking alpha strike with tremolas. Literally 8 tremolas every 5 seconds, and I'm gonna have 1 dude that's just gonna be like gas. Cool, we've cracked it. They've despawned their builder, their repairs are out of the filters. Roll in the fucking 250s, and then I'm just gonna switch all my javelins, and we're just gonna cover. We're gonna cover entire towns in fucking gas grenades. And if I lose my fucking javelins, I don't give a fuck. I'll just roll in another crate and do it all again. Because Fissuras have gone from a shit tier F weapon all the way up to A. Not quite S yet, but A. Just because 20 gas grenades in a standard loadout plus 14 reserve per infantry, and
hold on,
both javelins have a driver and a gunner. So that's literally just numbers. That is literally 60 fucking plus gas grenades.
Let me give you this
per javelin.
You ready? Ready for this?
Yeah.
Let me give you this. So this is something Bone did quite extensively, actually, especially for partisan stuff. We would run everyone, all 5 dudes in a grenadier uniform, 6 if you don't care about the javelin, plus the actual Fissura guy. So you can do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 guys total, right? You have 6 in grenadier uniforms, all with 7 or 8 tremolas and Laniers, and then you have 4 on the main Fissura guy. So you have what?
Yes.
I forget the number. I think it's around 100 and something tremolas in one, and we ran 2 packs of javelins, and we went and dehusked 2 with the 40,000 health. We went and dehusked 2 concrete cores. And we literally drove up, got on the mountain, everyone, and we just, as all the tremolas on it. And now you're sitting here saying that, we're going to be able to fucking breach things when the HP is low enough?
With tremolas, yes.
So now you're talking about doing 14 dudes on a piece, all focusing one area, and if I don't even kill it, now I can get in it when I come back?
Yep.
The fuck out of my face, dude. It's gross. We've done that so many times. We call it the bone car, or the bone car. That's what we call it when we're doing tremolas. I know there's the bone armored car, and there's the bone.
The Warden Trademark Union is staring at you angrily. But yes, the bone car.
Come find me. So that's what we call it, though. We usually call it the bone car, and we'll go we all know what that means. It's just tremola gang in a fucking half track, and we're gonna go balls deep, and we're just gonna smash one particular thing as hard as we can, as quick as we can, and then we're gonna get the fuck out of Dodge because it's a fast Vic.
Yeah.
And dude, now that can hold 20, the Fissura doesn't fire as fast as the Lanier. Most of the time, those guys are gonna get 2 off, so 8 maybe, and then everyone else is just going to dumpster with the Linears. But god damn, are those going to be so much better on pushes on breaching stuff. God damn, dude. Half tracks are going to be vital.
Yeah.
Half tracks, I feel like, are so much more vital for collies and the way we run things.
and
they're vital for us.
Yes.
They're just so vital for us. And we figured that out, too. Like, we kind of... I know I said I love the Scorpion, but we kind of gave up on the Scorpion because of how good the half track Lamentum was. And that's what we run a lot of the time just for our daily duty fucking around and stuff. But, man... It's only going to get worse when you're talking about, you know, Tremola gangs or, God forbid, if you wanted to do a smoke rush with Hydras, you can put 4 smokes, you could load up 20 smokes on the fucking Fashura, and then all the infantry roll in behind it. I mean, the utility of that vehicle is so insane because it's a tripod weapon. And now that the Fashura got a big buff, it's only going to make those things stronger. It's a force multiplier, and I really hope we exploit it.
And before we get any fucking guys that are coping about, oh, it's a shame that the Wardens can do this, bro. The fucking GAC can already do it.
I was gonna say
it's cheaper than the fucking Javelin,
and it's earlier too, way earlier in the tech tree.
And it's earlier, dude. The GAC. Dude, I will say this much. When I did my Warden vacation last war, the number one weapon the fucking Warden, like we all agreed on, coming from like colonial like veterans going playing Warden, we were like, bro, the fuck, why do the Wardens not have a GAC in every fucking infantry bush? It puts down 10 to 20 smoke grenades, and you can just rush safe houses. Though the moment I showed up with a GAC on my front line when I was playing Warden, and the Wardens were just like slamming their heads trying to do satchel/mammon rushes against safe houses, and they couldn't crack it. I showed up with my GAC, I layered the area in smoke. Literally 5 seconds later, all the G houses and all the safe houses that they were slamming their heads against for hours immediately evaporated. And everyone was like, wait, the GAC can shoot smoke? Like literally, like a lieutenant colonel Warden runner is like, wait, the GAC can shoot smoke? Like, what? I didn't even know. I thought I had to throw smoke grenades. I'm like, yeah, bro. The GAC can throw smoke. Like, and now the Javelin's gonna do it. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great, dude. I'm gonna have so much fun having a Grenadier uniform on the back of my Javelin with it for sure. Because I'll load it with trems, and then the moment is like, oh shit, the fucking Hydra Rush is going in, bro. Quickly, jump off the half track. Dump all the fucking Tremolas on the ground. Load that shit up with smoke. Go, 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 go.
Well, and it can be even crazier too. One thing a lot of people don't do a lot either is, I don't know if you guys know this, but one of the main reasons the Nemesis is so good is because it has 4 Tremolas. And if there's a tracked vehicle, for sure a half track might be a really good finisher now, because that's 1,000 damage flat that they can't run away from. Just food for thought.
And it can't bounce.
That's why that's why I say it's undeflectable damage. It's unavoidable damage. It's 1,000 damage, and that's usually a third, if not half, on some Warden tanks. Health. And if they're tracked and you go put that on them, usually you just disable them. If not, you just put the cherry on killing them. Especially HTDs, when they're tracked and you get on their side, those for sure is chef's kiss. So yeah, I'm very interested to see the for sure change. Gunboat changes. I'm not so much on with you about the. I get the ammo count doing like a linear little bullshit, like, but the Fashura just being an ammo carrier, okay. But putting a Fashura on a gunboat and using it, don't think that's a wise opportunity to exploit. But having it for an ammo storage for the linear gang, okay. AT would retaliate you though. AT would retaliate you though.
There's no AT on a there's no AT on a frigate.
Just pull like 10 gunboats with a fucking tread. That'd be funny as hell, dude.
Suicide gunboats are gonna be back with a vengeance.
Okay, let
And
me
my
ask you
Alpha
this,
Strike is going
though.
to be
What
fucking-
does more
yeah,
damage?
yeah, yeah.
Stickies or tremolas?
Stickies.
So
Stickies do. Yeah.
wouldn't it be better just to do a sticky little, what are those fucking things? APCs?
No, because the Fissura has 40-meter range, brother.
Yeah, but it don't matter when you're
What
talking
does
about
more
a
damage?
gunboat, like, or not a gunboat. You're not. It doesn't matter when you're talking about a frig. I guess if you're talking about mass number, like probably 4 or 5 gunboats with trims, that'd be fucking freaky. But
Yes, that would be insane. And sure, you can die to 68, but 168 round from a frigate will disable a APC anyway. Or
oh my
you get
god,
very,
you know
very
what
close
else
to
you could
insane.
get lucky with too? You could get turrets on their fucking. You could disable their turrets with tremolas too.
That's really hard. If you do that, that is then you need to fucking sign up for the NBA because you can shoot 3-pointers if you're able to do that.
Well, if
I've
you're
never
shooting-
I've never been able to disable a turret with a turret on a ship before with a tremola. That's something I haven't done yet. So
Dude, Medine-
it's on my Steam achievements to do.
Medine on our
Yeah.
regiment, like, honest to God, he only likes running tremolas and linears and stuff. He runs it in
Yep.
the fucking tank. Goddamn, just what is it called?
Scorpion.
No, it's the tank that has the fissure on the bottom of it.
Nemesis.
Nemesis. Goddamn, I don't know why I couldn't think of that. Nemesis. He likes dunking. He likes dunking Nemesis shots and the tremolas into the top STDs. He's done it 3 for 3. He's the fucking Kobe Bryant.
Yeah.
He's the Kobe Bryant of it.
Kobe Bryant,
And
dude.
what I was gonna tell you is,
3-pointers.
he has disabled a Warden frigate middle turret, like the front. He disabled one with a tremola. That's all he does, dude. He's a freak. He's killed tanks
What the
with
fuck?
tremolas. He's a freak, dude. He's a freak.
What's his name? What's his name?
Medine.
What's his username?
His name's Medine.
Okay,
He's in
I'm gonna send
Bone.
him I'm gonna send him an HVL request real quick. Whenever
He's a freak, dude. And you can ask anyone in Bone, like, if there's anyone that you
Nah, that's
want
good.
to know tremola shit. Oh my god. That's all he likes to run. Even when he's doing anti-tank, and we're like, dude, we're gonna go run a fucking sticky rush. Come on. He's like, I'll grab the trims. And he'll go track it for us, and then we'll just go sticky the shit out of stuff. And dude, the tremola and linear combo, or even the Fissura or tremola combo, I can't tell you it's ever wrong because it's always so fucking right. But I don't know about the gunboats. I'll have to see it to believe it. You gotta send me a clip or some shit.
Yeah, we'll see. But look, again, the big takeaway from it is I now have the player choice of doing it.
Yeah, that's really
To,
cool.
like,
I always
you know,
love doing
you can
that
only-
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah,
Okay,
man.
You're still good on time? I want to run through more of these things. There's a lot of like.
No, I got all the time
so
in the
many
world.
interesting changes.
It's just how much
Yeah.
do these guys want to listen? That's the real question.
Okay. I don't think we're quite ready to talk about underground fortresses yet because I think we need to see them in action. They're too much of a wild card. They're cool.
I do
They're
think the
interesting, but-
change that breachable mechanics can breach the El Quito and the fucking. They said that they could breach the underground fortresses.
Yes.
That's a little. I don't know. They can't kill them, but what makes that really interesting though is how do you get into it if you breach the entire top layer?
You have to run into the centerpiece and plant a charge in the bottom layer of the. So the way that an underground fortress works is it has 3 layers to it. It has the top of the bunker base with the ladder sticking out that you can climb out of. Cool. Then you have 1 layer down, which is your regular bunker base. That can be breached and that can be destroyed, so that you bring that down to 0 health and the whole structure piece like sinks in. But there's 1 layer underneath that's the spawn point, and it has a staircase that goes up into that middle piece, and that you can only destroy by running down
So-
into it and planting a bomb and
Yeah, I get that. What I'm asking though is, if you have breached top layer, or the second layer, bunker breach layer,
yeah.
how does it work getting out?
The staircase can't be the only way that the staircase dies is by running to the bottom layer and destroying.
You get up to the top of the staircase. What do? If everything is breached in front of you.
Oh no, you can. It's like you run into a tier 3 husk. If the structure above it has collapsed, it's like you literally exit into a concrete husk.
Okay, Fani just said it too. I was curious of is it, do you essentially suffocate them in, and when everything's breached, does it just fucking suck them in to where they're fucked?
It literally looks like a have you seen one of those like Olympic diving pools, like the pools that
the staircase?
It literally looks like one of those things, but no pool around it. It's just like a giant metal staircase that comes out of the
that
ground,
makes sense,
and then you can run out of it.
That makes sense.
What is interesting though is I think you can still repair the husks from the staircase. So if your superstructure collapses, it just takes too much structural damage at the top and it gets breached and it sinks in. You can run to the top with bags, and then you can place bags out of that staircase and rebuild it.
Yeah.
Super interesting. But yeah, I'm not quite ready to talk about the underground fortress. I need to see it in action because
I really think it could be a strong
unsure
point.
Where it's going to be placed.
Well, I know for one place that I could really see it doing its due diligence is an enduring wake, and having something that can't be pissed on by boats.
Yeah.
And that is a strong, sturdy structure. The number one thing that usually kills Endless Shore is naval, and the lack thereof naval from one side or the other. I can see that being used on both sides of Enduring Wake. I can see one of those being put on the back side of Endless Shore. Saltbrook, sorry. I can see one being put on the back of Saltbrook, right by Brackish. I can see one being put there, so we can't push past unless we actually assault and breach in. I can also see being one put at Iron Junction, at the south side of Iron Junction. Yeah. I could see that being a strong point back into the East Coast. I could definitely see those being very, very useful on even West March. Anti-naval there. Having a strong point that can't be bitch-smacked by naval, that can just hold the actual water lane, like Kingsford. No, what is that? Hold on, let me go look at the name really quick. Westgate, Kingstone. That's the name I'm looking for. Oh, I could see one being put at Kingstone as well as a hard breach point that can't get artied out. Most of the time, dude, a lot of these bases that we're talking about get killed from arty. Arty's always the bailout. And if you can't arty a base, and you can still have guys get in trenches with AT, and you can still have tanks run around it, you completely change the dynamic of how they have to push you. They have to brute force you now.
Yeah. So here's the most interesting use case that I have with the fortress before air is partisan flanking lanes. And the best place you can put this is on the top of a mountain, because if you put it on top of a mountain, it's really hard for infantry to snake their way up the mountain because fundamentally the way that the system works is you have to get infantry into it to plant an explosive and explode it with a havoc charge or a satchel rush, right? So if you physically place the damn thing in a spot where you don't care if it gets hit by artillery, or you don't care it gets hit by 250, or you don't care it gets hit by rocket artillery or Alactos or or jesters, it fundamentally doesn't matter, because it's still a spawn point that is incredibly fucking hard for enemy infantry to get into, but your infantry have a breeze to get out of. I can totally see placing one of these things in. Let's talk about we both fight in Endless, right? You know, just west of Saltbrook, there's this giant fuck off hill on the south side that has just a massive fucking slope, and Colonials used to put a lot of 150s there to shell into Brackish Point if the Wardens push from there. Instead of putting 150s there, I think you can squeeze a 3x3 in there, and you put an underground fortress. Now that mountain is near impossible for infantry to get up to, if there's like proper NGs and stuff and fences at the top. So properly built, it's really hard for infantry to sneak up that mountainside. But your infantry can spawn there, and my brother in Christ, if I get
logistics would be hard
on that spot. No, it'll be hard. Yeah, of course, Sludgy is always hard. Don't worry. Us Sludgy guys, we figure shit out. Don't worry about that. But I have an underground fortress that's filled to the brim with fucking stickies, venoms, and scout uniforms. My brother in Christ, anyone that tries to push Saltbrook from the north side is going to get fucking destroyed, because I will run non-stop sticky gangs from that underground fortress, and it is literally immune to all sources of damage until they take Endless. They take Saltbrook, and then they push west to kill it. Oh yeah. Oh fucking yeah. I'm gonna build underground fortresses on top of mountains, and I will literally have the fucking eagle's nest to run stickies out of. It's going to suck being an arty guy or artillery tank guy if you know HVL's in a fucking X and we have an underground fortress somewhere, because I'm gonna be running sticky gangs out of that monster like a fucking GLA tunnel from Generals.
Well, and even to top that, dude, like, this is what, like, let's say you had that, and you're in conjoint with us, and we had one in Enduring. And let's say we also had, you know what's really cool about the new Hades nets in Enduring Wake? Let me just show you, let me just show you a little sneak peek of what I'm cooking up for Endless Shore. Let me just show you real quick. Do you see the stream?
Yep.
So, I'm talking about putting it right here, first off, because they have to go through the Iron Junction Bridge, and it's too far for Artie to shoot there, and if they do traditional Artie here, that'll be a fucking joke. So, the one cool thing that I'm thinking about doing is having a Hades Nets base right hither, and you will see what's right in range of Saltbrook from Enduring fucking Wake. I'm gonna piss missiles down on this so goddamn much, they're gonna see reenactments of Stalingrad that look less brutal than this shit.
And also, just on top of all of that, what you just said, and I agree with it, is the spread comes to your advantage there, because every miss.
I won't miss. I won't miss.
It's gonna hit. It's
gonna motherfucker won't miss. I'll shoot everything.
Also, if rockets are still high explosive, I know they changed it, but I didn't get to see it before the dev branch got closed down. If rockets are still high explosive or explosive damage, it can still roll to devastate G-houses, scorch G-houses. That's the word. All day, baby. So the only thing that you need to now
miss.
Yes. The only thing that you need to do now is you need to figure out how I'm gonna get 3 bazillion rockets next to your arty pits every fucking time, because that's your limiting factor. It's gonna be like,
I mean, just have a train, dude. Honestly, if I can get it concrete enough and just get a train in there, I just have a depot and then a small train going into the ammo rooms, and I would just have a fucking well-oiled machine of rocket arty pissing down piss missiles on them every day. And if they try to take it, fuck you. I'm gonna send 100 fucking more rockets and tell you I'm gonna kill the blueprint. And I'm going to keep killing the blueprint. And I'm going to keep killing the blueprint. And then you're going to get so fucking mad after bringing CVs up there non-fucking stop. And they get killed by shitheads like you with stickies over and over and over. They're going to fucking give up. That's my game plan.
Yep.
Is war of attrition and just fucking sending piss missiles at them that just infuriate them. You can't get defenses up. You can't get your town hall up. I don't give a fuck what you're doing. I theoretically, as soon as I get fucking Hades nets and I could get Enduring Wake, I can kill Saltbrook. And then guess what?
Yeah.
All your G houses don't mean shit.
Yep.
I'm telling you.
You just scorch them.
And that's the whole... I don't think people understand how nasty Hades nets... Like, that's just one example, okay? This is another example that blew my fucking mind. If you could look at my stream again.
Yeah.
This is what blew my fucking mind and why I talked about Fort Duncan earlier. Oh, you want to sit at fucking Ulster Falls all day? Alright, well, we're just going to set up fucking rocket... Oh, actually, sorry. By the safe house.
Yeah.
You set it up right at the safe house? I can send piss missiles at you here all fucking day.
And again, the spread is your advantage.
Exactly.
You'll hit everything.
Again, and the only way for them to get here is gunboats, which if I put my tier 1 gun or howitzers up, you can't fuck with me. And the other way is the bridge, and I have tier 1 anti-tank. You gonna send 120 at me?
The shore, and if they get too close to the shore, Fissura 20 fucking Tremotas.
Oh, perfect. Piss missiles. And again, it's just time and time again, you can see, you can fucking, oh my god. You can kill Bailey from Manacle.
Yep.
Jesus Christ. Oh, hey, Victor? Alright, let's just kill all of fucking Husk Hollow.
Victor can already do this. I suffered under fucking getting HE rockets to death from fucking goddamn Horde when I played Warden. Jesus fucking Horde and their fucking HE rockets.
But it's not a joke, dude. You know when they always hold Callahan's? Just set up right at Iron's End. I'll fucking piss missile you.
Yep.
People
again,
are not on the same page. People are not on the same page of how strong 575 fucking meters is. That is so incredibly strong. It's like
it's 200 meters more than the longest range 150.
It's insane. And you can do that from 120's age. Like when 120s are out, those are out.
Yep.
So good luck fucking countering with 270 or 275 less meters of range. Good luck trying to out arty me, motherfucker, because I'm already gonna be in place. It's gonna be disgusting.
It's gonna be disgusting.
Now the thing is, I can't deny, and I already understand the implications of return howitzers. But with 700 damage per fucking rocket, if I make every salvo shoot 4 per salvo, 4 Hades per salvo, I will out DPS your howitzers. I will demolish your bunkers. Especially if they're tier 1 or tier 2, I will demolish your shit. They hit harder than 120s.
Yes. And the thing is like you just load your you fire all your spread, and then you just let everyone duck and cover and just repair tier 2 trenches. It gets better. Did I naively say tier 2 trenches? No, I'm sorry. You put tier 3 trenches down. Tier 3
my concrete octagons. Yes, my concrete octagons. Yes, my concreted ammo rooms with train tracks around them to be filled. Peasantry, sir. I say peasantry.
Exactly.
My concrete shall be strong. Yes.
Dude, I will say this much to Warden builders. I hope and pray. You guys better hope and pray that no one fucking concretes your artillery positions, because if the collies manage to push you out of your base and they fucking destroy your 120 guns or your 150 guns that are sitting inside your octagons, and we take over and we put Hades nests in them and turn those fucking guns around, you guys are gonna fucking suffer, because we are going to shoot HE rockets out the fucking ass inside your
dude. I'm just gonna be sending, I call them piss missiles, dude, because it's gonna piss people off. I'm gonna be sending so many fucking piss missiles downrange. They're gonna be scared, dude. Like, they're gonna hate him just as much as Horde's arty. Like, Horde sends arty, and everyone knows how fucking annoying that shit is, because it's persistent rocket arty.
Yep.
It's over, dude. That's all Bones focusing in his next war is rocket arty and fucking building. That's it. Oh my god, I'm so excited, dude. I don't even care if people know my plan. I don't even fucking care if they know my plan, because it's so hard to fucking change. You can't fucking counter it. What are you gonna counter it with? Your 500 range fucking sky crawlers? Good. You gotta get into my range to do it. Dude. And I don't even care, because I have concrete structures. You're not gonna be able to kill my fucking concreted Hades nest defenses with fire rockets.
And the The best part is, it is literally cheaper to replace a Hades Nest launcher than it is a fucking falchion. They are made from nothing.
But scrap.
It's scrap. This is the Logi guy here. I'm gonna feed this motherfucker non-stop rockets and Hades Nest. He runs out, I give him a trainload of Hades Nest back. That's just what's gonna fucking happen. So even if you snipe his Hades Nest, I'm gonna have an entire fucking trainload ready to
And the thing is, the only limiting factor we will ever have, which if I pair up with good teammates, aka HVL, other good regiments, ammo. And if once the ammo problem's dealt with, the only problem we're gonna have is the amount of targets we can fucking hit. That's literally our only problem is, if ammo's secured, base is secured, how many targets can I kill before this base is ineffective and I can't shoot anything other than water and dirt? That'll be my only three problems.
Fair. We know about Warden Weekend, right? Warden Weekend is real and it sucks.
Not anymore.
We have no, but we know about Warden Weekend. We know the phenomenon that is Warden Weekend. We're gonna need a Collie Rocket Day, where it's just like Rocket Wednesday, Rocket Thursday, Rocket Sunday, where it's just all we do, we have to get all the Collie regiments on board. Everyone just HE rockets for a whole day. Dude, the fucking what is it gonna
every front, dude. It should be like on a Thursday, dude, right before Friday.
We find a private with a 120. We're like, no. Put that in the storage room. No 120s today. Here's a Hades Nest. Here's 3 pallets. You start shooting and you don't stop.
Dude, we could do it on Thursday so we could fuck up their Friday plans, dude. Push them back fucking couple places. Make them lose their push points. Disorient. Should be fucking Rocket Thursday, dude.
Oh, dude. Oh my god. Also, do you want to know the best part about rockets? Is they don't make... Oh, they didn't... I don't know if they do it anymore. They don't make crater holes. They don't devastate ground.
Nope, they don't.
Every fucking rocket artillery... Every fucking rocket artillery barrage that destroys a bunker base, you have clean fucking dirt to build over.
Clean build.
It is the ultimate build gains weapon.
You don't have to fucking sell me on it, dude. I'm so fucking... I'm so excited, dude. I'm getting giddy about it. Like, I'm so excited to get back in Foxhole. Dude, I am, dude. Fucking rockets are gonna be so fun, bro.
He's gonna get an HE rocket hat. He's gonna get an HE rocket cap, bro.
Oh,
the
dude.
Nest cap.
I should just get a little, because I got this little patch for this hat, and I know a guy who'll do it for me. I'll just get a little Hades net on the day we're doing operations with him, and I'll just strap that bitch on so people know business is being conducted. I don't know, dude. I think the rockets, but to be honest, dude, here's the other thing, and the thing is, a lot of my friends are sitting there and they're like, man, I'm just going to do the rocket trucks, dude. It's twice as many rockets and it's a truck. And I'm like, I don't give a
3 times the price.
Fuck about that. I don't even give a fuck.
Yeah.
It's 3 times the price. I have the same fire rate as you per minute. And I'm entrenched. And I get 75 for fucking feeders.
And pause. And you have to wait 2 more tech levels before you get your truck. It's weapon. It's facility locked, not at tier 2. It's 2 tech levels after tier 2.
Oh god, I'm so excited, dude. I'm so fucking excited.
On a side tangent about apparel. By the way, I just checked the merch stuff isn't out yet because I really want to get those fucking flags.
Oh, me too.
Yeah.
I want the patch and the flags.
Yeah. How do you feel about this? There you go.
Oh, someone got a tattoo. I saw that shit. I thought it was interesting. Here's the thing, though. What if, like, I don't know, dude. I have a weird thing with tattoos just because, like, what if one day you go to a job and they don't accept you because of a tattoo? And you're like, God damn it, the sacrifice for the words. I'm all about gaming, bro, but if you're cool with tattoos and you don't mind, like, that guy when he's like 70, yeah, I don't want you to do something permanent for a game, but if you're about it in the spirit of it, like, hoorah, rah, brother, fuck yeah, dude, that's cool. I think the actual tattoo itself looks really good. I think he did a really good, like, I had a really good artist do it.
Yeah,
I'm just worried. I'm really worried you're gonna be regretting this when you're like 80. But for right now, dude, chug a brew, fucking get on Foxhole, and I'll come beat your ass on the front. That'll be fun, dude. Like, I love that. It's cool. I think it's really cool.
Dude, imagine he gets that tattoo, and then next patch there's just like a fucking a shopping list of like random warden weapon nerfs, like his specific weapon nerfs. Like, imagine if this dude only fucking plays with like cutlers. Like, maybe he's just a cutler gamer. Like, some people are just like, I'm just a cutler gamer. Cool, that's fine. And then like next patch, cutler range reduced by 5 meters. He's like,
yeah, where's the laser edge? Get this shit off! Fuck, you know. Oh man,
it's a cool, but for real, it's a cool tattoo. It's his, his body, his choice, or their body, their choice. It's really sick. I don't think I can. I actually legitimately don't think I can get like a colonial one. It's too. Could be like a.
That's too.
Symbol, I don't know.
That's too hard to me, bro. Yeah.
It's too there.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not gonna down you for it. I say thumbs up. That's gangster as fuck. But I don't have a big enough wheelbarrow to carry your fucking nuts on me, bro. I could not have that sack, bro. I could not do that. So,
Fear, the dudes from Fear's Regiment. So, Fear's Regiment confirmed biggest nut sacks in fucking Vauxhall.
Hey, dude, reward earned, bro. Fucking slap it up. They got it.
Yeah. All right, back to random patch notes again. I don't want to go to bug fixes because those can always change, and it's always still buggy.
Dude, one of my guys... Oh my god, that's insane. One of my guys just recently got a tattoo of 40k, now that we're on tattoos for a second. He got a 40k Black Templars fucking tattoo. That's badass.
Ooh. It's cool, but the Black Templars, isn't that like super fucking Iron Crossy? If I remember correctly.
It's space racism at its finest, 100%.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay, so I think let's chat about one more thing, and this might be a bit topic, so we'll probably yap about this for half an hour. War start changes. Do you know what they are? Do you want me to let me explain to your chat? War start changes.
Good.
So more towns are starting white. It's not just like 1 or 2. We might actually see, depending on the starting conditions, which we don't know yet, because the current War 25 is not done yet. 125 is not done. But the devs said that essentially the middle of the board is going to be white territories. Now, we didn't see that in the dev branch all that much. We saw a little bit of it, but we might see more town bases being heavily fought over at the very, very start of the war, and then once it settles, the next change that gets kicked in is all starting towns now start with less mammons, but they now start with shovels, sandbags, and barbed wire, and more BMATs, and 1,000 more BMATs. So, like the really, really early war start, we're going to see intense battles in neutral towns to tap them and then start taking small garrisons or whatever, and then followed up immediately with hunker down, build the fuck up. We don't need non-essential logi early game anymore because all the frontline bases are going to have sandbags, barbed wire, shovels. That's what you need to bunker base build, and then you will still have your starting kit of like Argentis and 762. So the only thing that Logi players are going to be running, I'm telling you right now, HVL is going to be doing this. We're going to start the war and just make mammons non-stop. Mammons and stickies, depending on where we are, because stickies fuck up lodges. So it's just going to be mammons and stickies for us. We don't have to make shovels. We don't have to make that much 762. So it's going to be like mammons, BMATs, maybe some smoke grenades, I guess, if smoke is not tier 0. So you guys are mostly frontline. What do you think of that change?
So we did address this, and I think the biggest thing that got changed with the most recent patch note, I'm going to be honest, I really felt like places were going to be really overpowered or underpowered based on garage locations with the CVs and stuff. And now that the CV change is back to normal, I think you're gonna see. I'll put it to you the way I put it to my regiment. I think the biggest important part, and from day one, we're gonna spawn in and get combat and get ground. I think because we're gonna be frontline regiment, and we're gonna be midline logistics and rockets. The more buffer zone we have in front of our, what I'm gonna be putting bear traps down, really strategic points, the farther buffer zone I can get, and the farther I can push them back and cut more of their what I call strategic resources. If the more scrap fields I can take on the front, the stronger we're going to be on the front. The more coal I can take, the better our concrete situation is going to be. If we can go take a refinery town day one, that's a fucking gold mine. Taking these middle points, aka like the war that Bone went King's Cage, and we went and took Manacle from the Wardens day one, literally never changed hands after that. That's how pivotal these day one fights can be. It can change the outcome of the war. And that's really like, bro, that's bullshit. One battle can definitely make or break a war. And if you're persistent and you get the ground early and you really fucking just dig in, especially with how the new building's going to be, how you can hunker down, I think stalemates are going to be at their highest once tech comes out and building comes out. I think stalemates are going to be really big, and I think you're going to need, the nighttime pop to push stuff. I think it's going to be a lot of, taking down little objectives throughout the day when there's not a lot of pop on. And there'll still be the AFK time zone, but I think taking these early points and having the mid ground is so pivotal to the war. Not make or break, but it's so pivotal to the war, and it's going to make the game so much different. Now that especially they're taking away kind of what I call the Kali advantage in the early war, kind of nerfing the Boma Stone, kind of these things. This isn't a balanced conversation, but kind of taking away our power spike in the beginning of the game. That's not necessarily such a bad thing. And people will go, what the fuck, you don't want a power spike? No, what I don't want is I don't want us to own 3/4 of the fucking map for 2 weeks for them to get their power spike and us to get tumbled over because our logi lines are so long. I think that, with everything checked and balanced, I think less rage quits are going to happen, and I think people are going to be more enticed to log on, to take ground, and to hold what they do have. So, all in all, I think it's a really good thing. I'm really a big advocator for like in-game miniature events, aka every breach mechanic is going to be an hour-long event to push in the breach or push them out of the breach. That's not a scheduled event by the devs, but when there's a breach on a big concrete core or a big concrete chunk, that will be an in-game event. That will be the whole hexes, probably like at least 100 people each side focusing on one specific point on the map. I'm so advantageous for that. I love having in-game events, and I think starting the game off with an in-game event of, do you want an advantage early game? Do you want ground early game? You better fight your ass off for it. I love that.
Yeah.
I think it's good.
It's gonna be super cool.
I think it's really good for the game.
And then the final in-game, the final early game change is inside friendly territory. All bunker bases now take faster until a certain point. Bunker bases are
don't know how. I'm gonna be honest. I really don't love that, and because I think that the game's already going into, it's gonna go into a stalemate frenzy. I really feel like that's gonna be the case on a lot of stuff. There's gonna be no man land, but there's gonna be a lot of stalemates on the really big builds, and I think having that early game tech and possibly getting these big super weapons teched earlier scares me. I'm not against it, but I am nervous that they're giving an in-game advantage to your hometown to build it. Then they said it in the dev, they're like, we want you guys to be more defensive in the early and get your advantages, and I'm like, Okay, but you understand this might be a fucking 60-day war when we have to go through 10 fucking super bases. Alquito or not, they're not just gonna fucking hand them to us, and storm cannons are gonna be dangerous. Fucking intel centers are gonna be vital. Goddamn, if a nuke comes up, I mean, whew. Yeah, I'm nervous about that.
Sit a bit further away from him, Mike. Sit a bit further away from him, Mike. You're a bit scratchy there.
Oh, sorry.
Or maybe it's fine.
Yeah, I'm just a little nervous of that.
Also, hey, you just shit on that one guy in your fucking chat. The day 3 fucking weather station. What the hell?
Oh, I'm not shitting on the weather station. I'm just saying I'm scared for the advantage we get from having him build that. All right, I'm worried that the advantages we're gonna get from that too early. You know. Also,
yeah. Look,
hold on. We didn't even talk about the biggest fucking change ever. That I can't even believe this skated my mind. 300's coming in tier 2.
Yeah, but it's okay. No, okay. Listen.
What?
No one, literally no one, is going to be shooting 300 mil the moment it techs anymore. That's the biggest change out of all the shit that they fucking changed about bunker-based designing and building and concreting. All that stuff surmounts the fact that the storm cannon race is not going to be determined who scoops the fields the hardest anymore. And I really like it. I really hated the fact that the moment the storm cannons tech, the people that win is the people who tech the aluminium tech first, because it opens too many fucking random doors where one faction will consistently get it more than the other. Plus, there is a very well-known exploit that allows you to tech certain techs faster than others. I know about it. I've reported it multiple times. I don't think the devs can fix it, because have you ever found that sometimes the Wardens mysteriously tech 300 mil 10 hours before the Collies do? Yeah, I know about some shit, but I won't explain what the exploit is. You motherfuckers know what it is. But I don't think they can fix it. And I think this change is a direct counter to that. So now it doesn't matter if you hit tier 2 before anyone else. It will still be a relatively equal grounds fucking race if the people who tech tier 2 after the previous guys who tech tier 2 get their shit in line and resource map layout, depending on who can get their 300 mils and their storm cannons settled and dried faster. It's not just pre-build the storm cannons, wait 30 days, and then hopefully we scroop the fields for aluminium faster than the enemy does. I like it. It's a good change. So it's gonna be interesting. Also, the fact that 300 mil now fucking makes torpedo holes. Hell yeah. We didn't go into too much detail about it, but it's actually really good as well.
I am happy about the change. Like I said, we won't go too much into it, but thank God that we do have somewhat of a land anti-boat mechanic other than 120 and 50. So, thumbs up to that. I'm very interested. You had to bring it up. I'm very interested to see how many times that interaction actually happens, though. I feel like storm cannon's anti-boat.
Storm hitting a boat. I don't think the random frigate that like shows up in your hex to like shell your base and fuck off is really going to be affected by it. What will be affected by it is like the red intel chat pinging a bluefin, longhook, 3 frigates, and a battleship crossing a border. That's definitely gonna. Wardens are gonna. Well, wardens. I say wardens, but the people who are doing the invasion are gonna have to make damn sure that they can QRF that shit properly, because dude, if you hit a bluefin or a longhook, the 300 mil round, invasion over. You have to go home. The ship can't anchor, therefore it can't deploy. Oops, you have to go home.
I didn't even think about that.
Yes. One 300 mil shot. So here's realistically what's going to end up happening. The people that are going to be building in the backline, because we always have backline concrete fortress guys who build a concrete fortress and then they spend the rest of their fucking game, the rest of the war just making M-steps for the fucking damn thing. They will at least have an existence building their LARP storm cannon facing the beach in like Origin and Warmongers Bay in Morgan's Crossing, because all they need to do for the entire war is the moment the Bluefin crosses the fucking border and gets outside the RDZ, they need to hit it once with a 300 mil to send it home. That's the only thing that they need to do. So, yeah. Okay. Final thing. Let's talk about shit parts of the. Let's talk about the shit parts of the update. Because, what's the number one thing that you hate the most? Come on, there's gotta be something. What do you hate? Jester. Is it the Jester? Do you hate the Jester? Everyone, all the fucking collies hate the Jester.
No, honestly, I think they actually checked and balanced that thing pretty fucking well, dude.
Yeah, I think it's
honestly, I think that I'm gonna be honest, and copium or not, I'm actually gonna side with the Wardens. I think the Elkido is better than the Warden counter. I can't say that I'm jealous of the Jester after the nerfs. I would be jealous of the Pushgun 250, which is, you hearing that come from my mouth is fucking insane in of itself. But honest to God, I really would prefer our Push 250, and I kind of feel for the Wardens because I could flip a coin and I can breach your bunker. I don't care how good your build is. I don't care how many hours you put into it. The fact that I get a bullshit 50-50 toss-up on your shit on one shot, I can breach your stuff, and that immediately puts your defensive posture to a fucking zilch. I to be honest, again, a PR thing, I think they need to stop doing, like, show and tell in their in their reviews, because when the Warden thing broke like 4 pieces of concrete, a lot of people were like, what the and once the real testing came out, yeah, they it's not that OP. I mean, it's going to be a good item. I don't think it's weak in any means, but in all honesty, I do side with the Elkido. And I don't like that, actually. I don't like when there's new mechanics brought up where one guys feel like they get the short end of the stick. And I feel like, you know, copium or not, whatever you want to fucking call me, I do feel like a lot of times one side always does get the short end of the stick. I'm happy it's not the collies, but I'm also not happy that we're not getting a feel-good engagement on both sides. That doesn't make me happy. I want the Wardens to have something they're proud of and something they're excited to use. It sounds like, you know, it's just getting drowned out at, oh, the 250 one's better. And that's, I don't like this fucking gameplay pendulum balance bullshit. I don't fucking like that. And I don't, at one half, I love the asymmetry of it, and collies finally get a little, in my opinion, a little fuck you button. And I like that.
Yes.
But I don't want the Wardens to, you know, be like, well, that's fucking bullshit, and just quit and be all pissy about it. You know, I like that we get a fuck you button. I feel like the Wardens still have some fuck you buttons over us that really piss us off. And I'm really excited to see how it goes. But again, when we're going into these things in future, I really want to see both sides get something that's like, I like the balance change that the devs did in Helldivers 2. Don't nerf anything. Just buff the fuck out of everything. Make everything viable. You know, that's my thing. I don't like the balance in it.
Yeah, I will say one thing about the Jester. Remember what I said about the Mammons being able to breach concrete? When you drop below a certain percentage point, the better way to breach concrete, or to breach a bunker base, but concrete in general, is number of projectiles, not strength of projectile. You just want to get the shittiest tier fucking thing to hit as many times as possible. You want those 30 volt repeater cannons. You want your spathers that just lock and load and fire, or autoloaders.
Throw enough shit at the wall, some will stick.
Yeah. So the strength of the Jester is that it can do that without the prerequisite of the bunker beast being below its breachable health. Its shatter missile salvo could do that straight away. So I do think the Electo is stronger. But to be fair, and this is something that I've consistently said since I saw the dev stream, I actually don't want to compare the two side by side. We're doing it right now because they're both new toys and they both share the same mechanic. But at the end of the day, the one is an artillery weapon, the other is a push gun. They both have two completely different counterplay mechanics. To counter the Electo, you rush it with infantry. To counter to counter the Electo, you rush it with infantry, gas, shrapnel, mortars, etc. To counter the Jester, it is a completely different loop. You counter it with partisaning, spotting it, counter push guns. You can also counter it with Rupturas and 30 mils and Ignis and things like that. They fundamentally you can decrew an Electo. You can't easily decrew a Jester. You shouldn't be able to decrew a Jester. And they're both at least vulnerable enough to die to stickies, which is both their universal counter. Now, at the end of the day, they are going to play differently. I do think that the Electo has it stronger because it's a more precision-based weapon, but the Electo, on paper, is much weaker to retaliation unless you make use of the terrain and you make use of like walls and like, suicide container truck or whatever. So I like both weapons. I think they're both on par with each other. But that being said, I'm not comparing them side by side. I'm taking the Jester and comparing it in isolation to the Electo. I think they're both going to see much use case, but I will say that in terms of battlefield impact, one Electo will have a much greater battlefield impact, whereas one Jester ain't going to do jack shit. I don't think one Jester might get lucky and breach an 80 garrison piece, but one Electo will definitely breach an 80 piece if given the opportunity to.
If it gets 2 shots, you could bet the house that at least one will hit. So the one thing I will say about it, and the one thing I do like in the balance of this is, I feel like the Electo, although a stronger projectile and a stronger chance to breach, you need to use a lot more teamwork to make it work. I think the Electo, you can pull up with 10 of those fucking things, piss missile the shit out of it, and drive off. To the push... the push gun, you need to wheel it up with a heavy hauler. You need to push it into position, spot this,
infantry cover, sandbags.
You're gonna need you need a setup for the Electo. But when the Electo is in motion and hitting, fuck your base, it's gone. You get a good chance. Yeah, I mean, goddamn, it took you 20 Fury shots, which you could throw in on a fucking back of a. You could throw. I mean, God forbid, if you did a Logi truck on the side of it, for the ammo storage, you could fucking completely derail the any bunker base.
Mr. Bear, Scorpion holding 250 rounds.
Whatever you want.
Retaliation.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. The thing is,
but the Jester doesn't need that because the Jester just needs more Jesters.
It just pulls up, shoots, and goes.
The teamwork with Jester comes in the fact that you need more Jester. The teamwork with Electo is you need infantry cover, you need this, you need that, you need wall, you need a whole bunch of... You need battlefield control to use an Electo. You need numbers to use the Jester. And that's why I don't want to compare the...
They're two different things.
Everyone is doing it, and I fall into it. They're two different things.
Yep.
It's literally like comparing HE rockets to Cutler rounds. Like...
They both do AT.
Yes, they're both rockets. They're both made with like explosives and BMATs, but they functionally play completely different.
Yeah,
so,
I agree. And so
that's just how people are.
It's in the nature of it, though. I understand it. I mean, they're the two new toys, and again, they both do the same. At the end of the day, they're two different things, but they can achieve the same goal, which is breaches. That's the number one goal of these things: is breaches and damage. I mean, if you're going for damage, chieftains are going to be better than the, jesters, or even their push 250, for God's sake. But as to ours, ours is going to take a lot more effort to get it in use. But when it is in use, watch the fuck out, because we'll be taking fronts. Like that's the whole ordeal. But the other thing is. And one thing I also want to say is, think of the partisan aspect of what those shatter missiles can do in large effect. Not partisan necessarily, but like in an offline, you know, you have the big main front fighting over here, and then you have 30 wardens come over here and just fucking shatter a front and get a flank off. That's not something you're going to be able to do with the Aikido that much or that often, you know. Ours is definitely a brute force mechanic, as to theirs is a hit and run scatter, you know.
And the other thing to think of is the jester can play like the jester can, in theory, play like a chieftain. If there's a concrete bunker base that you can't get through, what is the number one way that you must kill this bunker base to get further? What do? You chieftain suicide rush. Not chieftain, oh, I'm going to shoot all my rounds and then back away. You suicide for it. You make sure it fucking dies. We do it with ballistas, wardens do it with chieftains. The jester can do that. Because the jester can pull up, shoot all its rockets. Yeah, the 80 garrisons get to retaliate and shoot your jesters if they don't make the breaches that you want. But maybe you can breach all the fucking howitzer pieces behind it. And then you roll up with SPGs and flatten it. That's the one gameplay loop that the Jester still has. And I like this. I like the fact that the Jester you can suicide rush with the Jester, get your shots off, maybe get a little bit lucky, maybe get the breaches that you want, or just do enough collateral damage in one go that you lose like half your Jesters, the other Jesters get away, but the concrete is dead. The concrete is down. You can push in and then take over.
It only takes one breach, dude.
The Electo,
it only takes one breach to really make a big difference.
Exactly.
And that's the thing.
The strength, So the Electo, again, they fundamentally play different. The Electo is on paper stronger because it has a higher breach roll, but you use the Electo when you have battlefield control, not when you want to yeet. The Jester is the better yeet gun. It's the better yeet breach weapon because I bring in 6 of them, rockets everywhere. I drop the front concrete base. My infantry goes in. We havoc rush the underground fortress. Boom, we fucking win. Colonial side is, oh, I bring in my Spathers, I bring in my Scorpions, I bring in my Taluses. We fight the front line. Blah 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 blah.
The HCDs are behind the wall.
Yeah. The tank line gets just within range of the concrete 80 garrisons. Then we bring up 2 Electos. We put up a wall, or the tank line holds firm. The tank line doesn't move, and then the Electos start firing overhead and breach those fucking defenses and start taking out Starbreakers, to start taking out stuff, because 40-meter range is awesome. But that's the playstyle. You're not gonna see 3 Electos being rolled out in the middle of nowhere to PvE. That ain't gonna fucking happen. But you are gonna get that with Jesters, and that's the cool aspect of them.
I agree.
People need to cook and people need to play with it. Yeah.
Like I said, I think the thing I didn't like is, again, exactly what we're talking about. They're bringing up 2 new toys, and, you know, we kind of already said, I think the Electo's better. But, again, they're 2 totally different things, and I think that's the bad part of it, is we want to think one's better than the other when they're 2 different tools, right?
Yes.
And I think that's the thing I don't like about it, which, if that's the worst thing I don't like about this and the breaching, this is a pretty good fucking update. All in all, like, I really do think out of the past 4 or 5 updates, I think this is the most well-rounded, balanced update I've seen in a long fucking time. And I really think this is a good update for the game's health entirely.
Yes. Now there was one shit part to the update that I still need to talk about. Okay? Fucking Tempest Cannon storage. Okay? Tempest Cannons, just for chat.
Railstorm Cannons.
The Railstorm Cannon. The Tempest Railstorm Cannon now costs the same as a Bluefin. Its rare mat cost went from 3 to 100. It is very, very juicy target now. Now, up until this point, I have been complacent with storing vehicles inside of facilities. We all fucking do it, and the partisans love it. The fucking failing parachute, those guys, they love it when people put BTs and SPGs and all that shit on top of a crane. And at the end of the day, if they sneak into your base and they kill your fucking crane with a cutler and 3 rockets or lunaire and six torpedoes or whatever they use, if they sneak into your facility and they kill your shit, man, it's good for them. They have a good gameplay loop. However, I fundamentally have a problem with a weapon that is exponentially more expensive for player investment, that in other parts of the game can be defended by putting it inside of a depot where it is safe, or using a magic button inside the UI that locks it so that it cannot be stolen or touched until it takes enough structural damage to sink to the bottom of the ocean. All other large ships that have a massive player investment of collecting 100 rare alloys and all the other accompanying equipment to facilitate its construction as a mechanic in the game to keep it safe from
And can defend itself, mind you.
partisan groups. Yes, and can defend itself to a degree. Now, I have been okay and I've been complacent with people storing stuff inside facilities until the Railstorm Cannon / Tempest Cannon change. Because I think if something costs a certain amount of player time to make, because that's ultimately the real resource that we care about, is do you
Time.
have enough players and are they spending enough time to make something? Should it be able to be killed by one partisan with one weapon loadout consistently? That is
Idea.
the only problem I have this patch. And to a lesser degree, BTs and SPGs and stuff, those things, okay, cool, whatever. If you need to put them on a crane to keep them safe, sure. They're very expensive as well. But at the end of the day, they're just salvage. They're not rare alloys or like a tiny amount. But I think now the devs need to cook on a way for us to put Railstorm cannons, super heavy tanks, as well as anything else that costs rare alloys that is large enough, too large to be put inside a depot, to be stored in a way that the only way a partisan can kill it is by doing enough structural damage to the target to outright blow it up, not destroy a crane or a
So,
maybe
I've
not the
said
foundation
this.
underneath it.
I've said this before in podcasts prior. This is before all this shit was godly expensive. I think the easiest thing the devs could do right now, just as a placeholder until they can come up with something that is like way fucking better, there's 2 ways they could go about it. One is any supersized vehicle, whatever, I don't think they should go in storage depots, but if we could make a storage depot that could go on a foundation, and you would want to concrete these foundations and have them very fucking defended,
Yeah.
very, very, to defend the foundations it's on, because that's what they would go after, is the foundations. But
Yes.
essentially, I would want them to make a hangar style / and or a player made in the facility garage that could store 5 vehicles maximum. Doesn't matter if it's super heavies, BTs, and this needs to cost an exuberant amount of resources to make as well. Because if you're willing
500
to
steel. Make
Easily.
me pay 500 steel.
Easily.
I will pay 500 steel.
500 steel to store something like that, and then you would only go for the foundations it's on. That's the only way you'd want to kill this thing.
Yes.
As a partisan.
Yes.
And then if you do that and that alone, I think you could easily get people to buy into that system until they can come up with something better. Or, and this is the less likely option that I am not a fan of, is placing it in a storage depot. I don't like this idea because it puts too much protection on these items and gives partisans nothing to fight for. That's actually another good idea, Zolt. With these new advanced bunkers and these new underground bunkers, what if instead they made an underground bunker that could store vehicles that could only be blown up from the inside?
Yeah.
like an underground, secret facility bunker, that where all of our super weapons are placed.
Literal take the dry dock model and just put it on the ground, and then just you can put the railstorm cannon and lock it in, and then close it up.
Yeah. I think something like that.
Missile silo.
That brings another good idea, but let's not talk about that yet.
Yeah.
I do think something like that could be a really good implementation for them, and also that takes away them being able to kill it with like traditional, like a Havoc or something. It would give it a lot more life. But again, if you got 10 very skilled partisans and they got into the bottom of that bunker and kill it, there is a possibility to kill it again, but it would be so hard to pull off. That the ends make the means make the end. I think if you did that, you allow players to defend and place their bunkers in something they believe in that's very strong and can't be manipulated easily. But you also give partisans a new challenge to get in.
Yes.
And I think you make a valid point. Railstorm cannons, I doubt there's going to be very many made because.
Yeah. I actually pulled our regiment in the in our dev branch channel inside our Discord, and I literally asked the guys like, "Hey guys, this is the Railstorm cannon now costs the same as a bluefin, and we don't make many bluefins every war because they're very, very, very expensive. They're the second most expensive thing to make in the game next to the battleship, and again, battleships as well, very rarely made. It is an intra-coalition level goal to make a battleship, right?
Fucking Bone made one
We're
by
almost
ourselves,
there with
dude.
Railstorm. I know, look at you being cute.
Hey, we made one, I'm just saying.
Yeah, okay, here, have your pat on the back, you humble bragger. Anyway, that's cool. Anyway, but again, the serious point here is, how would you have felt if your battleship, after it was finished being built, because that's when it's at its most vulnerable, is its construction phase. How would you have felt that, the dry dock is finished, you roll it out, and then you leave it in dry dock, or not, sorry, in port for 2 or 3 hours, and then a partisan shows up and kills it with 3 cutler rounds? How would your regiment feel? It would crash people.
No, you
and
quit.
Of course, the partisan,
You quit.
they get a fucking field day. They get the best YouTube video on social media. Cool for them. The problem is, at the end of the day, they defy the opening phrase of the game. The opening phrase of the game says, "You are not a hero. You are not the main character of this game. You are a cog in the machine. Get some friends, and work the fuck together." And my problem with the Railstorm cannon right now, with its price, I don't care if I know the price changes to match the fact that that 300 mil is going to be fucking brutal on stuff, and I totally respect the change. But we are now at the point that heavily player invested resource weapons needs to have the devs need to add the ability to defend it a little bit better than a fucking crane holding it.
I'm gonna blow your mind here in a second. I'm gonna make you
I don't want it to be
cry.
involved, so I also just want to point out, because I know a lot of partisans are going to fucking clip this and send it everywhere. I don't want the weapons to be invulnerable. I am not in favor of it being able to be put in a depot either. Same as Bear. Bear also said that. Bear also agreed that we don't want Railstorm cannons inside depots. That is not fair on partisan gameplay loop. But, one fucking dude that's going to para-drop into my facility to shoot 3 cutler rounds to kill my Railstorm cannons is not cool, because then it goes against the nature of the game of get friends and play together and be part of the war machine.
So,
and that's all I'm gonna say. Foxhole is not Helldivers. You are not a fucking Helldive from your paradrop plane and kill all the fucking Railstorm cannons, mission accomplished, and pull out and have an awesome YouTube video. That is not Foxhole. Foxhole is collaborative, consistent, persistent.
do you want me to really scare you? You want me to really scare you?
Sure, Ibby.
If you don't put it on a crane and you left it down on a train track by itself, like derailed or whatever, just by itself. Do you know how
Yep.
many 20 mil shots it would take to kill it outright? A full storm cannon?
I do believe it is 32 20 mil. I think.
It's 27, and that's at minimum.
Oh.
It can go up.
Yep.
It can go up to. So the damage on 20 mil is 150 to 225. I did 4,000, which is the health of the Tempest cannon, 4,000 HP, and I divided that by 150, which is the least amount of damage a 20 mil could do. That's 26.6666667 repeating.
Yeah.
27 shots at bare minimum damage, you could kill one of the most expensive vehicles in the game, and that's two mags of 20 mil and one of the new 20 mil autocannon guns. That's 2 mags.
Yep.
And you can kill one of the strongest items in the game. And if you place it on a crane, much like you said, if they sneak in past the initial defense as an infantry, which is not that hard, with suppression mechanics, and especially with fire suppression mechanics now, you're talking about one of the easiest ways to get in now, even more than ever. With 3 cutlers, you can kill a fucking... I think it's actually 2 cutlers for a crane, to be honest. But yeah, that's it. 2 to 3 cutlers, and you can kill...
So
that. I'm reiterating your point of what I'm saying, of how fragile these things are, for how expensive these things are, and we don't have an adequate way to defend them. And to be honest with you, build better. That's kind of a joke when you have to build the facility, build everything, whatever. Okay, let's say you build a place that's a secure locker, quote unquote, with all the stuff in there. If enough partisans come through, they'll get you. And especially with how juicy those targets are. I watched what's that regiment's name? Squid. They dove 3 fucking submarines a few wars back for actually WLL's Bluefin.
yeah.
And they were willing to sacrifice 3 submarines, much less however many infantry, to go kill something that expensive.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, bro?
But here's the thing.
We gotta have something.
Here's the thing with that example, I'm totally fine with. They brought in 3 submarines to kill a Bluefin.
That's what I'm saying.
Totally,
But that's what I was trying to reiterate.
Cool.
That's what I'm trying to iterate.
But
Infantry should not be able to come do that. I think that's and they risk big, they earn big because it was full of shit.
Yep.
They should not be able to come in time and time again for let's say 10 crates of shirts, 10 crates of cutlers. Oh my god, 10 crates of cutlers. That's hard to say. Say that 10 times fast.
Yeah.
And some binos. For that kit, imagine that investment, and let's say almost 10 hours worth of studying the path, maybe even 15 hours worth of studying the path, is mute compared to the hours and manpower to scroop, the time invested to build it, and the time invested for the facility to produce all of those materials just to make that fucking thing. The time...
and then the M subs, the
exactly
that goes around it.
It's so. I'm not trying to whine. All I'm trying to say is I want a new project for partisans to get through. I think if they're good enough to get in and put cutlers on it, I want it to be harder. I want them to have to bring Havocs in, and Havoc, an actual bunker piece, or get into somewhere very hard to get to, but if they can get it, hats off to you. You out partisan our fucking shit. Hats off. I want a way for them to do it, but I want it to be a lot fucking harder. I'm not going to beat around the bush. I want it to be a lot fucking harder than what it is right now. Especially for the price point.
Yeah, and here's the thing. Even though you said BTs and BTs and SPGs and stuff, I'm still totally cool with them being put on cranes. So partisans will still have that gameplay loop. If some Logi guys are lazy and they just want to leave their battle tanks and their stuff sitting on cranes or sitting on grounds or something like that, and you're skilled enough as a partisan to get in and destroy that, totally cool. I'm fine with that gameplay loop. It's the same as if you're a skilled enough partisan to sneak onto a dry dock and destroy the dry dock while it's building or repairing a battleship and it kills the battleship. Also, totally cool. That's part of the gameplay loop. I'm fine with that. However, when the battleship is done, when the super heavy is done, and it is now the player investment taken to make that material is complete, and it costs a lot of fucking resources, like Bear just said, to make, I think it's fair if you need to do structural damage to destroy it. So, until devs figure out an underground bunker silo or an underground parking lot for us to store our Railstorm cannons, Ares, and honestly just those two, just our Railstorm cannons and our super heavy tanks inside them, because they cost rare alloys, and funnily enough, Electos, because Electos cost rare alloys now. Only one. They just cost one. It's fine. So if my rare alloy expensive things needs to be put in some kind of underground structure that requires like a partisan team to sneak in and set up havoc charges, or hydras or whatever, totally cool with that. But in the interim solution, I'm making a wild prediction here, but based on the polling I did on our Logi regiment, the guys who really like to make these things, like that's our crack hit, that's our dopamine hit for Foxholes making that shit. The most die-hard fucking super weapon building guys, they were all like, nah, not gonna make Railstorm cannon because I don't want it to die to 3 cutler rounds. We can defend every other aspect of it, but we can't defend the fact that one partisan can destroy why not just make a bluefin? That's the way. Like, why not just make 4 destroyers or 3 destroyers or whatever, as opposed to 1 Railstorm cannon? You know, it just doesn't play out.
That's actually something I mean, Bone's not in the fucking business of making Railstorm cannons. I've never even shot or been a process.
Except your Solar Bolt battleship.
Hey,
or your
saying,
Solar Bolt battleship.
We did do a battleship, you know, that was pretty cool, you know, but we haven't done a Railstorm cannon, and I know that they're really expensive, and I know why they're so expensive, but I agree with you. I think there needs to be a way to safely secure them, because that just sounds like a hawk of shit, dude. I mean, God forbid if you leave it on the fucking large pad, it's less than 2 mags of 20 mil in a certain fucking 20 mil gun, or if you put it on a crane, it's 3 cutlers. I don't give a fuck how, like, not even that, dude. Well, honest to God, it would be worth it to, like, try to get a 120 down there, or
I don't know,
diving anything, bro.
Or something that shoots 700 damage HE rockets over 575 meters range. I just thought of it. You know, I know where Wardens like to store their big fucking fancy guns on cranes.
Just saying.
It's like in Shelf. Do you know where we can put fucking
Hades nests?
Rocket in place Hades nests on maintenance. Do you know what maintenance island is? That fucking island that was covered in maintenance tunnels. Oh yeah, we could shoot fucking So I'm just saying, don't build Railstorm cannons. Don't put them anywhere in the backline, because we could put fucking we can build that. We can drop it. And how many facilities are gonna have howitzers? I know they're tier 2 now, but how many facilities are actually gonna build howitzers?
I'm just saying,
will the howitzers save you after all? And will the howitzers save you if the rockets are in the sky? Yeah, no. Look, there's no way to go. There's no way to beat around the bush. There needs to be a better solution to storing super heavy tanks, and there needs to be a better solution specifically now with Railstorm cannons, or else the same thing is going to happen that happens in RTS games, where in RTS games, when some units become too expensive, the only thing that players do is they don't make them anymore. And that's what's going to happen to Foxhole. If this is going to be one of the things where one dude can kill it with a cutler, people will just stop making it. And that's the direction that I saw when I pulled a regiment that literally gets the fucking dopamine hit for making these things.
Yeah.
And everyone is super excited to make them, but no one wants to store them because it just dies too easily. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah,
anyway,
I'm really excited.
Might need to wrap up.
I mean, you know, 3.5
I need to wrap
hours.
up. Let's go.
I need to go to the
Yeah.
restroom, so I'm down. Everyone, thank you guys for tuning in. I'm going to pop over to Squad here in about 10, not even 10 minutes, probably 5-6 minutes. Matrix on. Legendary, obviously, dude, we're becoming good fucking friends. I love hanging out with you and talking Foxhole with you, dude. I appreciate you being on the Boneyard podcast. And if you guys missed anything, I will be posting this 3.5 hour VOD onto YouTube for the Boneyard podcast. If you guys missed anything, if you guys have any comments, add-ons, go ahead and post it on the YouTube video once it's posted. And thank you again, brother, for being in here.
Cool.
See you guys.
Peace out, dude. And good luck in squad.
Appreciate
Cheers.
you.